was dedicated at that time, you know, there was the revolutionaries had oppressed and oppressor, this and this. So the residents called it Saint Michael the Oppressed. Ras Kasa oppressed Saint Michael and kept it for himself. So that's now the cathedral has been built, and Ras Kasa's wish was to take him with him to Bath and so on. That was the sentimental part, and very quickly I'll go to the duty part. During my stint at the Ethiopian embassy in London, I had accompanied a number of ambassadors, the first one being His Excellency Ambassador Birhanu Kabada, a very seasoned diplomat. What necessitated his visit was, as somebody said earlier, the news that there was talk about selling this house. And we went and had working lunch with the mayor of Bath at his parlor, and we told him that it would be an insult to the legacy of Haile Selassie if they sold it to a property developer. The reasons we told him, it was against his will. His will was there in unequivocally written that it should serve as a home for the aged. Don't forget that in those days there were not as many Rastafarians as there are today. Had that been the case, I'm pretty sure he would have added that. But anyway, race has no place in Haile Selassie's mind, so that's a good point in him. I want you to take a few minutes and ask yourself, why would Haile Selassie donate this spacious, how many acres? Is it 2 acres, 1 acre? 2 acres, 2 acres, spacious mansion to the people of Bath? Who in the world has done this? Wouldn't he think that what tomorrow comes, you know, a rainy day, I could save it for my children, grandchildren? No. It just tells you the sort of man Haile Selassie is. Very different. Money, property, didn't mean anything to him. So with that, I bid you good night, but I will be following you. Thank you very much.
So kind of you for sharing your experience and memories. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
Very kind of you. So if we now bring we have got really lovely music coming along by Tamasken, but quickly before we go to that, Engineer Scale, could you say a few things about Lijnavia, please? Because I simply introduced him without really saying a lot about him earlier. Engineer Scales there? Okay, maybe while we're waiting for him to come on, let's have, is Thomas again, Frag Collective, from the Crack Collective, based in London, amazing musician. If you can unmute yourself, play your amazing music for us, that would be so great. Thomas again, from Crack Collective, and then we'll go on to the scholar to tell us about the history of Adwa, the victory of Adwa, etc. Is Thomas again there? Thomas again, please, can you?
Yeah, can you hear me, Fissaha? Hello, how are you?
Yeah, fantastic. We can hear you well. Where are you? Oh, there he is.
Can you see me as well?
We can see you clearly, Thomas again. So Thomas again is from Crack Collective, thank you for joining us. Please, yeah, the stage is yours.
ስለጋበዝከኝ ለዚህ ለታላቁ ቀን እንግዲህ አድርገህ ስለጋበዝከኝ እጅግ አመሰግናለሁ። መላው ኢትዮጵያውያን እንኳን ለ126ኛው የዓድዋ ድል በዓል በሰላም አደረሳችሁ። መልካም ጊዜ።
ቼበለው ይሞታል እንጂ ለእናት ሀገሩ ቼበለው ወረ ቼበለው 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 ቼበለው ወረ ቼበለው
አመሰግናለሁ። ቴንክ ዩ።
Wow. Tamaskin. That is so good. From Cloud Collective. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Musa. Thank you.
We're so honored, really, to have you. Thank you very, very much. Okay. So now let's welcome, I hope Engineer Scale, this time is there. I can't, it should be there, Engineer Scale. Can you hear me or hear us? Engineer Scale is one of the person who's been working hard to bring people about, to join us. He lives in the States. Can you hear us? Can you, anybody see him, Engineer Scale? Oh no, where's he gone?
Fish, unfortunately, I can't see him. I don't know if he joined in another name.
He wrote all the scholars came by him. Okay, just give me a few moments if you can see him. He's not there, or maybe he's not here, yes. So, sorry, I hope he will come at some point. Could you? Yeah, okay. If you could do that, would be really good. Just to see where he's at. So what?
Briefly, until the scale joins, I know it's 2 p.m. where I'm from. I have to jump on a meeting for work real quick, but I can elaborate a little bit about the Crown Council of Ethiopia and some of our activities. What we do is, we're focused on preserving the cultural traditions and historical traditions of the Crown. And so, actually, next week we'll be celebrating the Àድዋ Victory Awards. We have an annual banquet and award ceremony that we do on an annual basis here in Washington, D.C. We were in London actually not too long ago as well to celebrate the victory of Gondar as well. And so, as I mentioned earlier, Prince Ermas is the president of the Crown Council of Ethiopia, which operates in the capacity of the Crown in absence of an actual imperial administration or monarchy in power. And so Prince Ermas has assumed that role, which was passed down to him from Emperor Selassie I, more widely known as Crown Prince Selassie. And in another capacity, I wear several hats. Myself in particular, I was the founder and president of Selassie Stand Up Incorporated, which spearheaded an initiative to ensure that a statue of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Selassie was built, centered in front of the African Union building. So that was a Pan-African organization movement, a grassroots movement that I launched back in 2012, 2013. And we were fortunate to have gone to Ethiopia in 2019 to erect the statue and witness the inauguration of the statue of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Selassie. I also work under the direction of His Imperial Highness Prince Ermas Selassie and Ato Kidani Alamayo in an organization called the Global Alliance for Justice, the Ethiopian Cause. And we are right now seeking an apology from the Italian government, as well as an apology from the Vatican, and hopefully fair and equitable reparations for the atrocities and war crimes committed by the then fascist Italian government against Ethiopia. As many of you may know, from the period of 1935 to 1941, over 1 million Ethiopians were killed. For about 500,000 homes that were demolished, 2,000 churches were demolished, 14 million livestock also perished during this period of time when Italians used mustard gas, against not only against Emperor Selassie soldiers, but against innocent civilians, elderly, and the children. So we have an online petition. We're also advocating for the restoration of cultural properties that were looted. Some are also in London, and they're also in display at the Vatican as well through the Truly in the Ethiopian library there at the Vatican as well. So we're also making an effort to repatriate that. What I do professionally is I work as a director for a health insurance company here. So I have a team that I manage, and I negotiate with health systems and provider groups. So what I do professionally is kind of is different from some of my activism work and how I engage with the Ethiopian community. I also work very closely with Hiskiel Iskander as well, as he also wears various hats in the community as well. So I'm very happy to be here and to have this opportunity, and I wish you all well and good luck. And they're calling me, so I have to jump to a meeting, but I'll try to join back in if I can. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Lij Nabiyat. There may well be some questions sort of in for you, but if you can come back whenever you can, just whenever, no pressure, but whenever you can.
I'll come back. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, nice one. Thank you, Lij Nabiyat. Engineer Scale is still not there. Okay, I may have to introduce the first scholar. If Engineer Scale is not there, I wanted Engineer Scale to introduce some of the scholars, because as he knows them very well. Is he there yet? Maybe not. There was a person who was trying to approach him. Did he say anything at all?
No, I just left a message, and I also texted him.
Okay, fine. Okay, thanks very much. Maybe, okay, so maybe we should go ahead, I guess, to our next speaker on the history of the Battle of Adwa. So we've got Professor Solomon on the panel. So Professor Solomon Getan. Professor Solomon Getan, you have got so much experience, knowledge. I mean, you've worked in many various places, and I think I would be honored to hear a bit about yourself before you talk about the history of the Battle of Adwa, and then please can you give us a little bit of about yourself, and then of course move on to the bit of the history you're going to share with us. Thank you very much, Professor Solomon. Unmute yourself and tell.
አመሰግናለሁ ለተደረገልኝ ግብዣ። በእውነቱ በእድሜም በእውቀትም ከኔ በላይ ያሉ ሰዎች አሉ እዚህ ውስጥ አውቃለሁ። አስተማሪዎች ሊሆኑ የሚችሉ እና እነሱ ፊት ቀርቤ የሀገሬን ታሪክ ስናገር ኩራት እና ልቤም ቢያጥ፣ ግን በእነሱ ፊት እኔ በመናገሬ እንደ ድፍረት እንዳይቆጠርብኝ ከተሳሳትኩ ርማት ኩርኩም ካስፈለገ ለመቀበል ዝግጁ ነኝና ከይቅርታ ጋር ስለጋበዛችሁኝ በድጋሚ አመሰግናለሁ። ስለኔ የምናገረው ብዙም ነገር የለም። የተማርኩት ሚሽጋን ስቴት ነው እና አዲስ አበባ ዩኒቨርሲቲ ነው። በአሁኑ ሰዓት የምሰራው ሴንትራል ሚሽጋን ዩኒቨርሲቲ ነው። ጥናቶች በኢትዮጵያ ዳያስፖራ ላይ ያተኩራሉ። ግን የኢትዮጵያ ታሪክ ብዙ ስለሆነ አንዳንዱም ያልተጀመረና ያልተጠና ስለሆነ አንዳንዴ ወጣ እያልኩ በሌላም ነገሮች ላይ እጽፋለሁ። ይኸው ነው ስለ ራሴ ለጊዜው ማለት የምችለው። አመሰግናለሁ።
መልካም፣ በጣም እናመሰግናለን ለተናገሩት። ምናልባት አሁን እንግዲህ ወደ ሊካፈሉን ስላቀዱት ስለ አድዋ ታሪክ ቢያካፍሉን እናመሰግናለን በጣም። ታንክ ዩ ቬሪ ማች።
እሺ፣ እንግዲህ የአድዋ ጦርነት በኢጣሊያ መንግስት እና በኢትዮጵያ መንግስት ንጉሠ ነገሥት መንግስት በአፄ ምኒልክ በተለይም የሳቸው ወኪል ሆነው ውሉን በተዋዋሉት በግራዝማች ዮሴፍ መካከል የውጫሌ ውል ይፈራረማሉ። እንግዲህ ዋናው መንስኤው ፈረንጆቹ እንደሚሉት ኢሚዲየት ኮዝ የሚሉት ማለት ነው የውጫሌ ውል ቢሆንም ከዛ በፊት ጣሊያኖች እንግሊዞች ግብጾች ብዙ ጊዜ ኢትዮጵያን ለመያዝ ሞክረዋል ወይም ደግሞ የተወሰነ የኢትዮጵያን መሬት ለመውሰድ ሙከራ አድርገዋል እና ይህ የውጫሌው ስምምነት እና ከዛ ተከትሎ የመጣው ጦርነት ክላይማክስ ማለት ይቻላል ከፍተኛ የመጨረሻው መጀመሪያ አይነት ነገር ነው እና ይህ ጦርነት ሲጀመር እንግዲህ አንቀጽ 17 ነው ዋናው አጨቃጫቂው አንቀጽ ጣሊያን ለምን ወደኛ መጣች ለሚባለው ጣሊያን በመሰረቱ ራሷ አገሯን እንደ ሀገር ያዋሃደችው በፈረንጆቹ አቆጣጠር በ1871 ዓመተ ምህረት ነው እና በዚህ ጊዜ ስትመጣ መላው የዓለም ካርታ ተቆራርሶ በአውሮፓውያኑ እጅ ነው እና በአፍሪካ ውስጥ ያልተነኩ ቦታዎች ቢኖሩ ሊቢያ ያኔ ትሪፖሊታይና ስሪናይካ ወዘተ ተብሎ በሶስት ተከፋፍለው የሚኖሩ ቦታዎች ኢትዮጵያ ወዘተ ናቸው እና ሶማሊያ እንግዲህ ከዛ ውጭ ያለው በአብዛኛው ተይዟል። ስለዚህ አሁን ኢትዮጵያን እንዳጋጣሚ በመውሰድ በተለይ እንግሊዞች የህይወት ስምምነት ይባላል አድሚራል ህይወት የሚባል የእንግሊዝ ጦር አዛዥ ድርቡሾቹን ማነው መሐዲስቶቹ ግብጾችን ከበው ስለነበረ ከዛ ለማስጣል ሲሉ አጼ ዮሐንስን ያነጋግሯቸውና ምጽዋ ሊመልሱላቸው በዛ በኩል መሳሪያ ሊያስገቡላቸው ተነጋግረው ሲያበቁ ግብጾችን ከተከበቡበት አስለቅቀው በምጽዋ በከረን አድርገው በሀገራቸው ምድር እንዲያልፉ ያደርጓቸዋል። ነገር ግን ወዲያውኑ የእንግሊዝ መንግስት ምን ያደርጋል ምጽዋን ወይም ደግሞ ኤርትራን ለጣሊያኖች እንዲይዙ ያደርጋል ይባላል። ምክንያቱም ጣሊያን ደካማ መንግስት ነች በማንኛውም ሰዓት እንግሊዝ ሊያስወግዳት ወይም ሊነጥቃት ይችላል። ግን ከጣሊያን ይልቅ እንግሊዝ የፈራው የፈረንሳዮችን በምስራቅ አፍሪካ በተለይ በጅቡቲ በኩል ከዛም አልፎ ተርፎ በደቡብ ሱዳን በኩል ዛሬ ፋሾዳ ኢንሲደንት ተብሎ በታሪክ በሚጠቀሰው ከፍተኛ የሆነ ፍላጎት ስለነበራቸው እንግሊዞችን ፈረንሳዮችን ለመከልከል ተብሎ የተደረገ ነገር ነው እና ከዛን ጊዜ ጀምሮ ጣሊያን እግሩን ከአሰብ ጀምሮ ቀስ እያለ እየተጎተተ ደጋው ኤርትራ ክፍል ደረሰ። ከዛ አልፎ ተርፎ ደግሞ ወደ መሀል ሀገር በውጫሌ ስምምነት አሳቦ ለመግባት ሞከረ። አንቀጽ 17 የኢትዮጵያ መንግስት ካስፈለገው በኢጣሊያ መንግስት በኩል ግንኙነቱን በአውሮፓ ማድረግ ይችላል ይላል። እንግዲህ እንትኑ ጣሊያንኛው ግን በጣሊያን መንግስት በኩል ማድረግ አለበት ይላል። ሜይ አንሻል በሚሉ ነገሮች አይነት ነገር ነው እና በዛ መሰረት ውሉ ሲነበብ የማይ ሊሆን አይችልም አሉ። ግን እዛው አንቀጽ ላይ ከ5 ዓመት በኋላ የኢትዮጵያ መንግስት ወይንም የጣሊያ መንግስት በዚህ ውል ካልተስማማ ሊያፈርሰው ይችላል ዩኒላተራሊ ማፍረስ ይችላል ይላል። በሌላ በኩል ሁለቱም ተስማምተው ሊያፈርሱ ይችላሉ ወይም ደግሞ አሻሽለው ሊቀጥሉ ይችላሉ ይላል። አጼ ምኒልክም ይሄን እነኚህን አጋጣሚዎች በመጠቀም ኮንቲ አንቶኖሊ ተዋሻሽለው ቢሉት እምቢ አለ። መካከሩት ሞከሩት ለማኑት እምቢ አሉ። ጊዜያቸውን እንደሚንታይም በአዋጁ በተስማሙበት መሰረት መሳሪያ እየገዙ ከእንግሊዞች ከራሻዎች ከሌሎችም መሳሪያ እየገዙ ወታደራቸውን እያደራጁ ቆዩ። በመጨረሻ ሰዓቱ ሲደርስ ልክ 5 ዓመት ሲሞላው ውሉን አፍርሻለሁ አሉት። እንዴት ተደርጓል? በተባባልነው በተነጋገርነው መሰረት ያው ሀበሻ ሲተርት ውል ያዋውላል ታንኳ ይሻግራል ነውና በተዋዋልነው መሰረት አፍርሼዋለሁ። ይሄም አሁንም አለ ጣሊያን ወደ 20 ሺህ የሚሆን ጦር መሪው ጀነራል ባራቴሪ ይባላል እና በስሩ ጀነራል አርሞንዶ ዳቦርሜዳ እና ሌሎችም እዚህ ጋር ስማቸውን ለማየት እየሞከርኩ ነው ይቅርታ እነሱን አድርጎ ጀነራል ሞቶ ማቴዎ አልበርቶኒ ጀነራል ጆሴፒ አርሞንድ ጀነራል ቪቶሪዮ ዳቦርሜዳ እና ኦሬስቴ ባራቴሪ እንግዲህ ካፕቴኑ እሱ ነው ዋናው ጀነራላቸው እነዚህ ሶስቱ የሱ ታዛዦች ወይም በሱ ስር ያሉ ናቸው እነኚህን አድርጎ ወረራውን ጀመረ ከዛ ይችን ወረራ ሲጀምር ከመጀመሩ በፊት ግን አንድ ያደረገው ነገር አለ ይኸውም ኢትዮጵያን ለማሸነፍ የሚቻለው በመከፋፈል ነው ህዝቧን እና ባላባቶችን በመከፋፈል ስለሆነ ራስ መንገሻን የትግራዩን የአፄ ዮሐንስ ልጅ ራስ መንገሻን አባብሎ ወደሱ ለማስኮብለል ይፈልጋል ይሄኔ በዛን ሰዓት የቅኝ ግዛት ምንነትን ያውቁ የነበሩት ኤሪትሪያውያን በተለይም ደጃች ባህታ ሀጎስ ይህን ጉዳይ ይደርሱበትና ስማ የጥቁር እባብ ቢነድፍህ ለመርዙ መድኃኒት ይገኝለታል ነጭ እባብ ከነደፈ ግን መድኃኒት የለውም ይሏቸዋል ይሄ ሚስጥሩ ነው የኛና የሚኒሊክ ያንተና የሚኒሊክ ጠብ ግድ የለም ይታረቃል ወደፊት መፍትሄ ይኖረዋል ከጣሊያኖች ጋር ግን አይሆንምና አብረን ተባብረን ጣሊያንን እንወጋው ብለው ተስማምተው መልእክተኛ ይልካሉ ግን መልእክተኛቸው በጣሊያኖች ይያዝና እሳቸውም እንደዚሁ ይገደላሉ እና ይሄ ሙከራ ተደርጎ ነበር በዚህ ጊዜ ራስ መንገሻም ሁኔታውን አይተው ወደ ኢትዮጵያ ይመለሳሉ ሽማግሌ ልከው ታርቀው ይገባሉ አሁን ሁሉንም ባላባቶች አስማምተው ጦርነቱን እንግዲህ ጉዞ ይጀምራሉ ሲጀምሩ ለኢትዮጵያ ህዝብ አዋጅ ይነግራሉ ያገሬ ሰው እስከዛሬ አስቀይሜ አላውቅም እና ተከተለኝ ሚስት የሚቀማ ሃይማኖት የሚቀይር ከርስት የሚነቅል ጠላት መጥቷልና ተከተለኝ ወሎ ቦሩ ሜዳ ይመስለኛል እንድንገናኝ ብለው ክደት አዋጅ አውጃሉ እንግዲህ በዚህ ጊዜ ነው ኢትዮጵያዊ በራሱ መሳሪያ በራሱ ስንቅ ንጉሱ አዋጅ ደበሎ ቅዳጅ ብሎ ባስነገሩት መሰረት ተከትሏቸው ይላል ከዛ በኋላ ካምፕ ያደርጋሉ በመሃሉ አንድ ኤሪትሪያዊ አቡ አሎም ይባላል ይህ ሰው በኢትዮጵያና በኤርትራ መካከል ስላለው በራስ መንገሻ በኩል ሆኖ ብዙ መረጃዎችን ያቀብል ነበርና ጣሊያኖች መቼ ኢትዮጵያ ሊያጠቁ እንደሚችሉ ወዘተ መረጃ ይደርሳቸዋልና ምንድነው የተባለው ለአፄ ምኒልክ ጋር ቀርቦ ጣሊያኖች ምኒልክ መቼ ነው እንትን ብለው እየጠየቁ ነውና እስቲ መረጃ ፈላልጌ ነግራቸዋለሁ ይላቸዋል እና ለነሱ አይ እሁድ በተስኪያን ስለሆነ በተስኪያን ስለሚሄዱ በዛ ጊዜ ተሞክር ጥሩ ነው አላቸው ይባላል እና ለዚህ ነው ጣሊያን እሁድ ዕለት ጦርነትን የጀመረው ነገር ግን አፄ ምኒልክ ተዘጋጅተው እየጠበቁት ነበር ጣሊያን በሌሊት ወረራውን ያደርጋል በአንድ በኩል የተላከው ጦር አቅጣጫውን ይስታል በሌላ በኩል ደግሞ ጠላት ወገን ውስጥ ይገባል እንግዲህ ያኔ ነው ሲነጋጋ እቴጌ ጣይቱም ምንጯን ያስይዛሉ ውሃ በጣም እንትን ነበር ከስንቅ ከቁስለኛ ከማንሳት ከማከም እነኛ ነገሮች ያደረጉ ጦርነቱ ተጀመረ ማለት ነው በዚህ ጦርነት ጣሊያን አንድ ጀነራል ይሞትባታል ሌሎቹም ማረካሉ ባራቴሪ ተጨማሪ ጦር ለመላክ ባሰበበት ጊዜ የመሃሉን ክንፍ ይዘውት የነበሩት እንደ ደጀን ሆኖ ማለት ነው ይዘውት የነበሩት እነማን ነበሩ እንግዲህ የጦሩን አስተላለፍ ልንገራችሁ። በቀኝ በኩል ንጉስ ተክለ ሃይማኖቱ የጎጃሙ፣ በግራ በኩል ራስ አሉላ የትግራዩ፣ በመሃል ደግሞ ራስ መኮንን፣ ራስ መንገሻ፣ ራስ ሚካኤል ናቸው። እንግዲህ ራስ መኮንን ከሐረር፣ ራስ መንገሻ ከትግራይ፣ ራስ ሚካኤል ከወሎ ማለት ነው። አጼ ምኒልክና እቴጌ ጣይቱ ተጠባባቂ ጦር ይዘው ይጠብቃሉ ማለት ነው። እና ባራቴሪ የራሱን ጦር ይዞ ለመግባት በሚያስብበት ሰዓት ይላል እንግዲህ መጽሐፉ ከአጼ ምኒልክ ትእዛዝ ተሰጠ ይላል። የወሎ ፈረሰኛ ግባበት ተባለ። ዘራፍ እያሉ እያቅራሩ በሰራዊቱ መሃል ሲገባ እንዳልሆነ ሆነ ይባላል። እና በግራም በቀኝም አጣድፈው ጦርነቱ እንደማያዋጣ ሲያልቅ ባራቴሪ ወደ ኋላው አፈገፈገ። ይህ ጦርነት እንግዲህ በዚህ ጦርነት ላይ ብዙ የሞቱ ሰዎች አሉ። ገበየው ደጃች ገበየው ቢሞት ተተካ ባልቻ፣ መድፍ አገላባጭ ብቻ ለብቻ ይባላል። እና እነዚህ ብዙ የተነገረላቸውም ያልተነገረላቸውም አሉ። እና ጦርነቱ በኢትዮጵያ አሸናፊነት ሲጠናቀቅ ኢትዮጵያ የውጫሌ ውልን ሰረዘች። ወደ 11,000 የሚሆን ጠመንጃ ከ4,000 እስከ 5,000 የሚሆኑ ተገድለዋል። ወደ 8,000 ያህል ጣሊያኖች ተቆስለዋል። ነገር ግን ትልቁ ነገር ለኢትዮጵያ ኢትዮጵያን በዓለም ካርታ በዓለም አቀፍ ኮሚኒቲ ውስጥ እንድትታወቅ አይደፈሬነት መላበስ ሶማቾ የማይጨው ጦርነት ሊጀምር በሚካሄድበት ጊዜ ማለት ነው በ1928 ዓ.ም ኢትዮጵያን የታባቱን ጣሊያን ደግሞ በለመደው እንደለመድነው እንመታዋለን ብሎ ብዙም ዝግጅት አልተደረገም ይባላል። ያለፈው ጊዜ በማስታወስ ከሁሉም በላይ ግን የኢትዮጵያና የአውሮፓውያንን ግንኙነት በእኩልነት ደረጃ አድርጎታል። ለጣሊያኖቹ እንደተናገርኩት ብዙ ውድቀት ደርሶባቸዋል። ከዛም በላይ ወደ 3,000 የሚሆኑ ጣሊያኖች ተማርከዋል። በዚህ ምክንያት ጣሊያኖቹ ተናደው በሽንፈቱ ምክንያት ሮም ውስጥ የሮም ዩኒቨርሲቲ ተማሪዎች ቪቫ ሚኒሊክ ብለው ራዮት ወይም ደግሞ ከተማዋን በጥብጠዋት ነበር ይባላል። ጠቅላይ ሚኒስትሩ ክሪስፒ በገዛ ፈቃዱ ስልጣኑን ለቋል። ለአውሮፓውያኑ በዛን ዘመን የነጭ የበላይነት የነበረበት ዘመን ነውና ለአውሮፓውያኑ ግን ትልቅ ውርደት ሆነባቸው። እንዴት ተሸነፍን? ምንድነው የሆነው? እና ነጭ አይሸነፍም ወይም የበላይ ነው የሚለውን ትምክህታዊ ይዘት አፈርድን ያስጋጠው። ነገር ግን ይህን ለመቀበል አንዳንዴ ጸሐፍት የተማሩም የሆኑ በዘልማድ የሚጽፉ አውሮፓውያን ግማሽ ይላል ኢትዮጵያ ተራራማ ሀገር ስለሆነች ነው፣ ተራራው በጣም አስቸጋሪ ስለሆነ ነው የተሸነፈው ጣሊያን እንጂ መልክዓ ምድሩ ጭምር ነው የተዋጋው ይላሉ። ከዛ በኋላ ሌሎች ደግሞ የለም ጣሊያን እኮ እነሱም እኮ ለአፍሪካ ቅርብ ናቸው አታንድ የካርታውን እና ከዛም በላይ ደካማ ቅኝ ገዢ ስለሆኑ ድምድሙም ስለሌላቸው ይላሉ። አንዳንዶቹ ደግሞ ኢትዮጵያን አፍሪካ ውስጥ ቢኖርም እኮ ብዙ ነገር ያላቸው ናቸው ብለው እንደ ኢትዮጵያን በባራኪና ጠባ አድርገው ብሊች ለማድረግ የሚፈልጉ ይመስላል አንዳንዱ ንግግራቸው። እና ይሄ ሁኔታ ሆኗል። በዓለም ደረጃ እንግዲህ አንዳንዶቹ ምን አሉ እንደ ኦገስት ዋይልድ ሞደርን አቢሲኒያ የጻፈው ሰው ምን አለ? lessons to prevent another white failure in Ethiopia እና ይሄ አባባል ምንድነው? ከዚህ ውድቀታችን ተምረን ይህ ውድቀታችን በሌሎች አፍሪካ ሀገሮችም እንዳይደገም እና ሁለተኛ ኢትዮጵያን ለማውረድ ከተፈለገ ደግሞ እንዲያው ያለ የሌለን ነገር መጠቀም ነው ያለብን አይነት ነገር ነው። ያው ጣሊያን በ27 ዓመተ ምህረት 28 ሲመጣ ያደረገውም ይሄ ነው። I wish I could share you አንዳንድ ካርቱኖች በአውሮፓውያኑ የኢትዮጵያን ማሸነፍ አስመልክቶ የጻፏቸው ያወጧቸው ካርቱኖች ነበሩ። አጼ ምኒልክ ቪክቶር ኢማኑኤልን ሲመቱት ያሳያል። አንዳንዱም አጼ ምኒልክ እንደ those of you who have watched Tarzan helpless ጣሊያን ሴት ሆና helpless እና ምኒልክ ደግሞ አቅፏት ይታያል። እንደዛ ነገሮች ታይተዋል። ከሁሉ
Professor Solomon, if you want, we can make you a co-host if you want to share your screens.
Sure.
Sorry, scaling for coming late. And if you can also say a few words in English, we'd really appreciate that. Engineer, please make the professor a co-host so we can share his screens.
Oh, thank you for turning up.
Sorry for being late. I had a computer problem. I'm working in a plant, so.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Can I share?
Yes, you can share the screen now. Go ahead.
Thank you. ይታያቸዋል?
Yeah.
Oh, it's clear. Go ahead.
Okay. እንግዲህ እነኚህ ናቸው ጀነራሎቹ። የኛው አልበርቶኒ ነው፣ አርሞንድ ዳቦር ሜዳ እና ይሄ ባሪያቴሪ ናቸው። ካርቱኑ እዚህ ጋር ነው የሚታየው። እነኚህ ናቸው እንግዲህ ያው ዩዥዋሊ አውሮፓውያን ደሜከስ በዛም በነበረው የዘረኛ ፍልስፍና መሰረት ደሜክ ካሪካቸርስ እና ይሄ አጼ ምኒልክ ለፕቲት ጆርናል የተባለው ጋዜጣ ያወጣው ነው እዚህ ጋር። ይሄኛው ግን ሶርት ኦፍ እንዴት ነው ሳታየር መሆኑ ነው። ሉክ አጼ ምኒልክን ያው ያኔ ጥቁሮች ይታዩ በነበረበት አስተያየት ነው። ማለትም እንደ ዝንጀሮ ወይም ሳብ ሂውመን ነው የሚታዩትና ያኔ ይሄን ፎቶግራፍ ስትመለከቱ አጼ ምኒልክ እቺ ጣሊያን መሆኗ ነው እና exactly what it reflects is ታርዛን ወይም ደግሞ ታርዛን ሳይሆን ያኛው ዝንጀሮ ይሄ ጎሪላው
ኪንግ ኮንግ
ይዘውት መጥተው
ኪንግ ኮንግ
ያ ታንክ ዩ እሱን ያስታውሳል። እዚህ ላይ ያው እንደምታዩት በሙስሊም እንትን ይላል። ይሄኛው እንግዲህ ያው there is a mythology about blacks and sexuality እንደዛ አሉድ ያደርጋል። እዚህ ጋር የምታዩት ያው I hope እዚህ ጋር የምታዩት ደግሞ አጼ ምኒልክ ያው ቪክቶር ኢማኑኤልን ሲወቁት ነው ማለት ነው። እንግዲህ በኢትዮጵያ እና በትልቁ ተጽዕኖ ግን በአፍሪካውያን ላይ ያለው ነው። ቀደም ሲል ጥቁሮች የራሳቸውን ቤተክርስቲያን በአሜሪካ ውስጥ አቋቁመዋል እና ስሙንም አቢሲኒያን ባፕቲስት ቸርች ነው ያሉት። አቢሲኒያ ያም የኢትዮጵያ የምትጠራበት ነው። እዛ የራሳቸውን ሃይማኖት መካፈል ስለማይችሉ ነው። ምንም እንኳ እምነቱ ተከታዮች የአንድ ዲኖሚኔሽን ተከታዮች ቢሆንም አይፈቀድላቸውም ነበር እና የራሳቸውን ቸርች አቋቁመዋል። ከዛ በላይ ግን ሮበርት ኤ ያንግ፣ ዴቪድ ዎከር ያኔ they published a pamphlet ኢትዮጵያን ማኒፌስቶ በ1829 ነው ይሄ long before ከዛ I think in 2007 እነኚህ ሰዎች ከአሜሪካ መጥተው የ150ኛውን የአፍሪካን አሜሪካን እንትን ሴሌብሬት አድርገዋል ወደ ኢትዮጵያ መጥተው አፄ ኃይለ ሥላሴም እንደዛ ቤተክርስቲያን አንድ ትልቅ መስቀል ሰጥተዋል። ብራዚሊያን አፍሮ ብራዚሊያን ኦን ኔሊክ የሚል ኒውስ ጋዜጣ በ1904 አቋቁሟል። ቪቫ ሚኒሊክ የሚለው አባባል ለብዙ አፍሪካን አሜሪካንስ has become a battle cry እና ጸረ ቅኝ ግዛት እንትን ማጠንጠኛ ሆኗል። ሄሽን ቤኔቶ ሲልሜን ጸሐፊና ገጣሚ was one of the co-founders of the Pan-African Congress with W.E. Du Bois, George Padmore and others. The timing rasu is telling 1896 Italian ተሸንፎ in less than 4 years Pan-African እንትን ተቋቁሟል ማለት ነው። many ብዙ African Americans ወደ ኢትዮጵያ መጥተዋል። probably ከኢትዮጵያና አሜሪካ ግንኙነት በ1903 ነው የተጀመረው። አንዲቦ ወይም ደግሞ ያግሪን ከተመሰረተ በኋላ ወደ ኢትዮጵያ መጥተዋል። ብዙዎቹ ከካሪቢያን ናቸው። ማርክስ ጋርቬ አንደኛው መዝሙራቸው የዩኤንአይ ዩናይትድ ኒግሮ ኢምፕሩቭመንት አሶሲዬሽን ኢትዮጵያንስ አዌክ የሚል ነበረ። ማርክስ ጋርቬ በጣም ለኢትዮጵያ ትልቅ ፍቅር ያለው አፄ ኃይለ ሥላሴ ለንደን በነበሩበት ጊዜ በጣም ሊያነጋግራቸው ይፈልግ ነበር። እሱም ባይዘን ኤግዛይል ሆኖ እዛ ይኖር ነበረ። የጣሊያን እና የኢትዮጵያ ጦርነት በ1927 ከዛ በፊት ዴሊጌት ሲላኩ ብዙ ኢትዮጵያውያን ዴሊጌት በአሜሪካን ሀገር ሲሄዱ they really seek out African Americans በግላቸው ይሁን መንግስትን በማለት የመጀመሪያው ዴሊጌሽን ሄደው የአንደኛ ዓለም ጦርነት እንዳበቃ አሜሪካኖችን እንኳን ደስ አላችሁ ለማለት ነው። ከዛ በኋላ ሌላም ዴሊጌሽን ሄዷል እና በግል ብዙዎችን አነጋግረዋል። በነገራችን ላይ የሚሄዱት ዴሊጌት ማደሪያ ስላልነበራቸው they have to stay in churches and I think Howard University later on used to be a residence for some of the Ethiopian delegates. Louis Farrakhan, I think Professor Gates ባዘጋጀው Africa's Holy Land በሚለው ቪዲዮ ላይ ጠይቆት በሚናገርበት ጊዜ the Nation of Islam መሪ እኛ ኃይለ ሥላሴን ስለ ኃይለ ሥላሴ ንግስ ነበር የጠየቀው። እኛ ኃይለ ሥላሴን ስናይ we have been hearing about King George, King this, King that. Now we know that we have our own king. እና ኢትዮጵያ ለኛ ከፍተኛ ቦታ ያላት ለኛ የኩራት ምንጭ ነች ወዘተ ብለው ተናግረዋል።
Professor Salomon, please try to wrap up in the next few minutes, 5 minutes maximum, please. Thank you so much. Okay.
እንግዲህ ይቺን ነገር I wish I could አነብላችኋለሁ። ይህ ከጦርነቱ በኋላ ከተጻፈው ከኒውዮርክ Pearl of Ethiopian sign of unrest among natives in British South Africa. This is London Times reporting, aka New York Times, a special cablegram ይላል እና ይሄ ምንድነው በኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ኢትዮጵያ ያደረገችው ነገር ጥቁሮችን ያነሳሳል እና we have to be careful የሚል ነው። እንግዲህ ያው ስክሪኑ ላይ ያያችሁት ነው። ጣሊያን በ1927 ወሮን ባሸነፈም ጊዜ ብድሩን የራሱን ካርክቸር አውጥቷልና እዚህ ጋር የምታዩት የጣሊያኑ ልጅ ጣሊያኖቹ ባንዲራውን ይዘው የኢትዮጵያን እጅ ሲነሱ ነው እዚህ ጋር የምታዩቸው ወይም የጣሊያን የፋሺስት ሰላምታ ሲያቀርቡ ነው። ለዚህ ነው እንግዲህ ሚኒሊክ ተወልዶ በነሳ ጋሻ ግብሩ እንቁላል ነበር እንግዚአብሻ ተብሎ የሚነገረው እና ንግግሬን በዚህ ያበቃለሁ። የኢትዮጵያ የዓድዋ ድል የኢትዮጵያ ድል ብቻ ሳይሆን የመላው ጥቁር ሕዝብ ድል ነው። ዛሬ በኢትዮጵያ ላይ በተለያዩ አጋጣሚዎች ሕዝቧን ለመከፋፈል ለእድገት የምታደርገውን ጉዞ ለመግታት የሚደረገው ጥረት ሁሉ ይህች ሀገር ድሃ ሆና ያን ያህል ነገር ማድረግ ከቻለች ሀብታም ከሆነች አይቻልም በሚል ነው እና ታሪኩ የኛ የጋራ ታሪክ እንዳይሆን ብዙ ነገር ይሰራል። ነገር ግን እስካሁን ድረስ ኢትዮጵያውያን እዚህ ደረጃ ደርሰዋል። እንግዲህ ደግሞ እግዚአብሔር ቃል አመሰግናለሁ ለሰጣችሁኝ እድል። መልካም የዓድዋ በዓል።
Professor Solomon, we're very thankful for sharing your knowledge with us. That was so really great. We learned a lot from you, and that was great slides as well. Some of the pictures never seen at all before. We're very honored to have you. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, stay around. Some people might have a question for you. Please stay around. We're very kind. We're very honored for that. But now we know Engineer Scale is now here. I think he was busy with other things, but finally he's with us. He apologized. Apologies accepted. Engineer Scale, without further ado, please say a few words about all these great scholars and legionnaires, etc. Please say a few things. Engineer Scale, you're there now, I know.
Yeah, sorry for being late. I'm working in a plant in Iowa, and our company computer system was giving me a difficult time to get on Zoom, so I'm using my phone. But I'm still wearing my high-vis clothes I need to wear in a paper mill. In any event, I appreciate for the opportunity. We've done this last year. This year, I think it's getting a little bit bigger, and we need to continue to build on this. We have, I guess, some of them have already been here. I want to say a few words about Neviat. Neviat, as you have heard him, he was born and raised in the Cleveland area in Ohio, and but he has been to Ethiopia a number of times, spent time with his grandfather, his late grandfather, and his parents did a wonderful job, and he has a dear sister also, Dr. Manna. They are very in tune with what's going on in Ethiopia. One thing, what Neviat does and excels is he speaks Amharic more than any one of us. In fact, when we write things, he's the one who proofreads it. Not only he speaks it, he writes it. He's an excellent person to have a chat in Amharic or in English in any language. So, in fact, if Neviat is still here, I want you to address this August group in Amharic for a few minutes. If I would say a few words in Amharic. Neviat, are you there? Please unmute and greet this, our guest in Amharic. Okay, I guess he's not here. So I'm going to, and he is instrumental in getting the message from the Prince, and he's also very close to the Crown Council. Our next guest is Professor Talaun Yilma. Professor Talaun, it's going to be your turn after this. Could you unmute Neviat, please? You say that you could unmute Engineer Prasad. Unmute Neviat.
Oh, yes. Biniam, can you unmute Neviat? Or Eleanor, whoever. Okay, yeah, we try.
Okay.
Yes, we try.
Okay. Okay, Neviat, can you?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. In English earlier, now I want you to address this group in Amharic, please.
በደስታ ስለጋበዛችሁኝ አመሰግናለሁ። ቅድም ወጥተህ ነበር መሰለኝ አጥር ያለ ገለጻ አድርጌ ነበረ የዓድዋን ድል በተመለከተ እንዲሁም ፌርፊልድ ሃውስ በሚመለከት አጥር ያለ ንግግር አድርጌ ነበር። ስለጋበዛችሁኝ አመሰግናለሁ። ሁላችንም እንኳን ለ126ኛው የዓድዋ ድል በዓል አደረሰን እላለሁ። እንግዲህ ከዚህ በላይ
አማርኛ መናገር ብቻ ሳይሆን ከኔ ሁሉ ይቀኛል። በጣም ጎንደር እናመሰግናለን እዚህ ስለመጣ ከፕሪንሱም መቼስ ሰምተሃል። በጣም እናመሰግናለን። Thank you, Nabia. And plus, I hope your father, Engineer Akilu, and whatever are also here. I invited them, and they did a wonderful job with you too. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next, Professor Cloud, please unmute Professor Cloud. Professor Cloud is emeritus professor at UC Davis. He's a world-renowned virologist, and he has contributed in his field immensely. He is a National Academy of Science inductee, and he's also have written about Ethiopia for the last 20-some years, over 30 years. And I'll give him a few minutes to finish the introduction and continue with the presentation for our English-speaking guests. Professor Talam will be presenting in English. Professor Talam, take it, please. Unmute Professor Talam for me.
First, I'd like to thank the organizing committee, especially Engineer Scale, for this opportunity to speak. Before I share my slides, I want to show you a few things. I have the privilege of having 2 swords issued by Emperor Menelik. Can you see this?
Yes,
it says Menelik, Menelik, and then Mohan Bestaz, and it's a stamp. And then on the sword itself, it says Ethiopia Tabate Dawa Habadgabir. So I have that, and then I have the second one. Again, that's a Menelik sword that was used actually in the Battle of Adorama. So I feel very privileged. It doesn't belong to me. This belongs to the Ethiopian people, and my wish is to finance the building of a museum for the Ethiopian Academy of Science and place these collections there. That's my hope, and when peace comes to Ethiopia, that's what I'd like to do. In addition to that, I was contacted by the first USAID Point for Director's daughter that something that he had gotten from the emperor on his 75th birthday, there were gold coins that were issued, and I have a whole set of them that were issued for the emperor's 76th birthday. I would also donate this to the Ethiopian Academy of Science. And then I have a few other collections. With that, now I'd like to go to my presentation, and I want to share my screen.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
That's what I'm going to do. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can, yes.
Okay, great. The next 15 minutes, I would like to share with you. This is such a great honor, and I want to discuss a few points. The first is, it is important that we continue to do this, because a nation that forgets its past has no future. Let me see if I can... how did it all start? How did we get into this situation? Just one of the things that happened, I need to move this picture over here. Lord Macaulay in 1835, after he visited Africa, I don't have the time to read the whole thing, but his presentation on the 2nd February 1835 to the British Parliament was, he was really impressed by Africans, their pride. He didn't see a single beggar, their dignity. And basically he came to the conclusion, unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage, and therefore I propose that we replace her old and ancient education system, her culture, for if the Africans think that all that is foreign English is good and greater than their own, they'll lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they'll become what we want them, and truly a dominated nation. This has been the agenda of the West since his proposal, and this continues. And here is Henry Kissinger, supposedly as a teenager escaped the Holocaust as a German Jew, but what was his, when he became head of National Security Council for the United States, his suggestion was depopulation should be the highest priority of our foreign policy towards the third world. And he had especially a specific recommendation in that in the epilogue of Theodore Vestal, which is a great historian and a great friend of Ethiopia, he recommended in 1972, National Security, known under his direction as the committee in charge of running the world, wrote a confidential report on the future of Ethiopia. He purportedly recommended that U.S. policy should be to keep that nation in perennial internal conflict using such vulnerabilities as ethnic, religious, and other divisions to destabilize the country. This was proposed in 1972. And then I was a guest of University of Milan in 1997, traveled around Italy and gave lectures. And then I asked what the official, the dean, if he could make arrangement for me to meet with the foreign minister of Italy, because I asked him, what is the West waging ethnic politics on Ethiopia? And he said to me, I have a very good friend. His name is Mr. Largo. He is in charge of East Africa. He would be more helpful to you than the foreign minister. So I'll take an appointment for you. And he did, and I traveled. I flew down to Rome, met with Mr. Largo. He said he could not give me a copy of the document, but he could let me read it. And I just have a little, when I was a guest of University of Milan in Italy in 1997, I learned from the foreign ministry in charge of East Africa, the British provided a master plan to the State Department how to destroy Ethiopia by waging ethnic politics. USAID funded the program named Basic Education System Overhaul, or BESO. The aim of this program was to destroy our national language Amharic and teach Ethiopians in their ethnic languages, which there are more than 80. In addition, our Sabian, or Giz, Ethiopian alphabet that is more than 2,000 years old, much superior than the Latin, was to be replaced with Latin alphabet, destroying our literature and heritage. That's exactly what Mullis was assigned by USAID to do, and that's what the TPLF did, and I will continue with that. Now, we should be very grateful. We are in debt to the family of Pankhurst. And I used to visit him on a regular basis in the summer when I come to London, and he said to me, I should never trust the English. And both his mothers, Sylvia Pankhurst, Richard Pankhurst, I can't go to it because of the time shortage, but he wrote 2 volumes in the Journal of History of Medicine. In addition, before Àdwà, that has never really been very well documented and told, he documents that extremely well. The British provided the Italians a virus, 2 cows they brought from India infected with rinderpest, the most devastating cattle disease, Desta in Midbar. And they introduced that through the port of Massawa. Greater than 90% of all ruminants, cattle, sheep, goat, buffalo, wildebeest, antelope just perished. When I was developing a recombinant vaccine for rinderpest at the Plamanan Animal Disease Center, I took 19 animals, injected them with a single dose of the virus in the prescapular lymph node. All of them died in 6 days. This is not slaughter. This is bloody diarrhea. This is what the British gave the Italians to weaken. Under these circumstances, that was introduced around 1892. 96, then Emperor Menelik and Empress Aitu have to gather their weakened population, Ethiopian population. 30 to 60% of the population has already starved from because of rinderpest, and he came to Àdwà, and of course, the rest of it is history. I would like to mention purposely one Pitarari Gabayo Gora, the other one they done like Balcha, the previous speaker, talk about the poem. Gabayo Bimotataka Balfa Merfa Garaba Bicha Bicha. It gives me great honor to tell you, I am so privileged that Pitarari Gamayakora happens to be the uncle of my mother. The Battle of Adorama took place on Sunday 1 March 1896. In the annals of the colonization of the continent of Africa, there is only one great nation, Ethiopia, that defeated a European power, Italy, at the Battle of Adorama by the army of Emperor Menelik and Empress Aidu. She played a very, very significant role, a great hero of Ethiopia. And in recognition of this event, on 2nd of August 2020, Sunday, the African Union had a big celebration for her in Addis. Aitu Butul, a legendary Ethiopian woman who had been a military strategist and army top brass in the fight against the Italian aggression at the Battle of Adorama, was celebrated by the African Union. As a member of the advisory council to Ambassador Putum, the Ethiopian ambassador to the United States, I volunteered. I said I would be more than happy to finance the construction of a statue, Aitu Butul on a horse next to her husband Menelik near St. George Church. And I would still love to do it if I am permitted, and I will pay for the entire thing. Let's just talk about just 1 second about Mandela. As you know, Mandela is he got significant support from Ethiopia. Mengistu actually supported and to defeat the apartheid regime in South Africa. This is what Mandela said about Ethiopia. Ethiopia always has a special place in my imagination, and the prospect of visiting Ethiopia attracted me more strongly than a trip to France, England, and America combined. I felt it would be visiting my own genesis, unearthing the root of what made me an African. When Mendes invited Mandela, he just told him in no terms, he said, "You are a disgrace. How could you introduce to a beautiful country, Ethiopia, an apartheid system of color?" And he refused to visit it. And here we have another one who said, this is Trump, why do we want all these people from shithole countries here? We should bring more people from places like Norway, the blondes and the blue-eyed. So the West had never had any good design. What is the agenda of the West for Africa? The West foreign policy for Africa is just as racist as their domestic politics to their own citizens of color. It has three major goals: sucking our resources, promoting white supremacy, waging war. So we can use all our resources, buying their war weapons, and instead of using it for development. That's their agenda for us. Here is Benito Mussolini again. Look at this Ethiopian here. One of us. Look at his feet. And he fought for the independence of Ethiopia barefoot. We should never forget that. With regard to the West's investment in waging war, here is a five-star general who defeated Nazi in the Second World War, President Eisenhower. He said, when he retired, he addressed the joint session of Congress, gave the nation a dire warning about what he described as a threat to democratic government. He called it the military-industrial complex, a formidable union of defense contractors in the armed forces. Not only is the democracies, even the West itself is a victim of its military-industrial complex, because they are always looking for, as soon as the United States was done with Afghanistan, they were ready to start a war in Ethiopia. Here is President Jimmy Carter. He said the U.S. has only enjoyed 16 years of peace in its 204-year history, making this country the most warlike nation in the history of the world. We're seeing it now. And here is the outcome of colonialism. They created colonial boundaries, which are a source of conflict. Who are our fake leaders and Ascaris Banda who execute their master's agenda? For example, there was this Millennium Village, Jeffrey Sachs from Columbia University He said he invented 50,000. I was at the National Academy of Science when this presentation was made. I said, what is your 50,000? Mullah spent $2 billion defending Badme, Iraq, and all the Italian boundaries, defaming our great history and our defeat of Italians at Adwa. He spent $2 billion and he Jeffrey Sasa about 50,000. These are the Askaris that they like to make in charge of us. Now, what is the difference between these two characters? They both are Tigrinya speaking. Askaris to the war, Banda. They spend billions of dollars defending Badme, Iraq. In fact, one African paper said it's like two bold men fighting over a phone. How could you spend billions of dollars defending a colonial boundary when we have children with no shoes? They can't even have clean water to drink. And then here is the Tigrayan Askari, the TPLF killing, transporting the British master Martin Bloch, who writes all these tweets to the side of the crime in Ethiopia. And this is the kingdom they created. The British and the American sponsor put mullahs to create this kingdom so that our nation could be destroyed along ethnic lines. Here is another orchestrator, assistant of mullahs. This is Herman Cohen. Supposedly complains about Nazis, but he doesn't do Nazi things in Ethiopia. He is another one who sponsored mullahs to continue this apartheid program in Ethiopia. I predicted this. I have an open article in the New York Times, April 24, 1996. This was going to lead to the destruction of Ethiopia, and unfortunately my prediction is coming true. This is CNN described a pointless savage war is finally over, CNN. And then the Nobel Prize, a consolation prize, is given to Abiy. Why did we have the war in the first place? What is really the difference between Meles and Isaiah? And what has been interesting is 784 billion in 2006 alone, this is the UN report in the New York Times, was transferred from developing countries to the West. And here is Jacques Chirac talking about what he has done to Africa, the former French president. We drained Africa for 4.5 centuries. Next, we plundered its raw material. After that, we said they Africans are good for nothing. In the name of religion, we destroyed their culture. And now, as they have to act with elegance, we are picking their brains with scholarship. Therefore, we are claiming that the unfortunate Africa is not a brilliant condition and is not making a leap. Having enriched our back, we are now lecturing. Here is Desmond Tutu. He just recently passed away. When the missionaries came to Africa, they had the Bible and we had the land. They said, let us pray. We closed our eyes. When we opened them, we had the Bible and they had the land. And here is an Ethiopian official of what's happening. Ethiopia's alarming brain drain. I'm a very good, with all humility, I can claim to be one of those examples. One concerned Ethiopian government official said, the whole of Ethiopia's education may be thought as being nothing more than a supplement to the corresponding American because it finances Ethiopia's brain drain to that country which deprives Ethiopia of the cream of educated manpower. The same official added, believe it or not, nearly 80% of Ethiopian students who go abroad on scholarship never return home. I was trained during Haile Selassie's time, virtually everybody returned home. And then what? This is the TPLF. Instead of these kids carrying books, what are they carrying? They're carrying guns. This is Askari, these are bandas. And I would recommend that Ethiopians should get this book called Lords of Poverty, the Power, Prestige, and Corruption of the International Aid Business. They claim they give us $50,000 for Badme, and then they take $2 billion. A constant barrage of negative images in the media reinforces the prejudice of many that Africans are incapable of doing anything to help themselves. I have a lot of projects with China. I think we can dispel that shortly. These are in the Ethiopian soccer team. Here is my son, Ethiopian soccer team with the Ethiopian flag. Here is my son carrying the Ethiopian flag. And he said to me, every time I think of this, I always cry, but truly. And I try not to do it now. My then 5-year-old son asked me, I hear that Ethiopia is in serious trouble, Daddy. You have a lot of resources. Why don't you help Ethiopia? I'll help you. What I have for Ethiopia, what I wish for Ethiopia, in one country that is not divided by apartheid, one population, one people that live in harmony and in respect, one Queen Shiva's Fidel, Saba's Fidel, or Gi's Fidel, one national language Amharic, and one flag. Ethiopia, let the land Ethiopia, let it live forever. Thank you.
I'm now secretary professor. For your information, he is a world-renowned biologist. He's a scientist, and he's also addicted to Ethiopia. Now secretary. I yield back to Engineer Prasad to introduce the report. Thank you, Engineer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Tlao. That was really very kind of you. Grateful of you to share your slides and everything. We're honored for that. Thank you very much.
One information I want to give our guests is Professor Tlao detests ethnic politics. He is an Ethiopian to his core. But ethnically, he is 1/3 Amhara, 1/3 Oromo, 1/3 Tigray. And yet, he's an Ethiopian. Okay, take it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that resembles with all of us.
You forgot my Goragi heritage.
Okay. Well taken. Yeah, comment. Thank you very much indeed. So we've got as a poem, Biniam, student, University of Bristol, electrical electronic engineer, a bit like mine, in fact, many years back. So Biniam, please, okay, I think you want to read a poem written by Lamin Sisai. Lamin Sisai unfortunately wasn't able to do it here. So we've got Biniam, maybe he's got another as well to share with us. Biniam, please, all yours.
Okay, thank you so much. I think I'm a little bit emotional. So if I'm emotional and nervous, please, I think, forgive me. So the first poem I'm going to read is in Amharic, and it's by laureate Tsegay Gebremedin. So the title of the poem is called Wa Adwa. Wa Adwa. Wa Adwa Rukwa Yalet Musoso Yadmas Ekwa Samai Tekes Chirag Daswa Adwa. አንቺ ህልውና በትዝታሽ በጸና በመስዋዕትሽ ክንድሽ ዜና አበው ታደሙ እንደገና ዋ አድዋ የዘር አጽም ርስቷ የደም ትቢያ መቀነቷ በሞት ከባርነት ስርዓት በደም ለነጻነት ስለት አቦ የተሰዉብሽ ዕለት አድዋ የክሩ ትውልድ ቅርሷ የኢትዮጵያዊነት ምስክሯ አድዋ የክሩ ደም ባንቺ ጽዋ ታድማ በመዘንበሏ አጽምሽ በትንሳኤ ነፋስ ደምሽ በነጻነት ፋስ ሲቀሰቀስ ትንሳኤዋ ተግ ስር ትር ስር ትቢዋ ብር ትር ስር ጥሪዋ ድውልም ሲጋሻዋ ሲያስተጋባ ከበሮዋ ሲያስገመግም ዳኛ መድፋ ያባ መቻል ያባው ዳኛው ያባ በለው 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 ሲለው ዋ አድዋ ያቺን ጽዋ ያንቺን አይጣል ማስቻል ያለው አባ መቻል በዳኛው ልብ አባ መላው በገበየው ባባ ጎራው ባባ ነብሶ ባባ ቃኛው በለው 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 ዋ አድዋ አድዋ የትናንትናዋ የው ባንቺ ህልውና በትዝታሽ በጸና በመስዋዕትሽ ክንድሽ ዜና በነጻነትሽ ቅርስሽ ዜና አበው ተነሱ እንደገና። ይሄ ግጥም የተወሰደው ሳቶ ያበባ ከሚለው ከሎሬት ጸጋዬ ገብረመድህን የግጥም መድበል ላይ ነው። አመሰግናለሁ። በመቀጠል I'll be reading an English poem by Chancellor, by the University of Manchester Chancellor Lamin Sisai. the Battle of Adorama, 1896. Preceding Adorama. Remember this, the Europeans carved up our homes with blood trust, not because we were the third world, but because we were the first. Because we held gold in our hearts, because we have diamonds for eyes, because oil runs through our veins and the blessing hung in our skies. Remember, when they scrambled in the conference in Berlin and callously carved Africa, searing each African skin, it was not just because of their greed or need to sow seed saturated with sorrow, but because through Africa's greatness, they envisioned their own great tomorrow. The beginning. Baratieri, the Italian general, had eyes instead of eyes and a tongue of 5 laser whips. Ras Alula was deafened by the whisper of lies that seeped from his lips through Alula's agents who could breathe the tone of Ethiopian winds. They whisper, we will catch the Italian advance before the advance begins. And with the anger that of lions and the swiftness of eagle's wings, Alula rose magnificent and rode to the foot of Menelik the king. With all their 5 generals, Menelik growled 5 armies and damned attacks. It will take one strong Ethiopia to break their stiffened backs. Meantime, with pomp and primitive greed, the Italians embarked on their plan. They left for Àdwa from Entisco with nighttime, a shroud for each man. Unbeknown, every step was recorded by Alula's silent, speedy spies who traced the battalion's movement through the reflections they left in the sky. The Italians, nothing the Ethiopian dawn as a clock for a surprise attack, had no knowledge the warriors were waiting and would give the surprise back. With all their 5 generals, Ras Alula whispered their armies and planned attacks. It will take one strong Ethiopia to break their brittle backs. The war. The Ethiopians advanced from below, a hero sacrifice for a country's love, suffice as they fell and blood spill for another flank to rain from above, and so unveiled complex maneuvers of hope and honor or history, whose aim was the breaking of evil and the waking of victory. The Ethiopians from all provinces gathered with truthless protection, descended around Àdwa with justice and honor and unity as their weapon. The cracking, snapping of rattling rifle awoke the morning sun. From the regions the Italians poured fire. The Battle of Adorama began with all their 5 generals. Ras Mengesha fought with their armies and their attacks. It would take one strong Ethiopia to snap their stiffened backs. The victory. It seemed the more Ethiopians were killed, then twice as many returned. The more they tried to drench their spirits, the more their spirits burned. It seemed as if amongst the red mist, each man that fell wounded rose again. Each breath of air rejuvenated his lungs. Each drop of blood seeped back to his veins. It seemed that the Ethiopians rose from the riverbeds, came from the shadows of mountains, with eyes of stone and dread, and Baratieri's general, sensing the beginning of the end, succumbed to the deafening of whisper, surrender, surrender, surrender. Remember this. It was not one of Ethiopia, but Ethiopia's one. It was not part of the sum that won, but part of everyone. It was not the hurt on its own, but its vein that pumped on. It was not just the warriors, but where they all from. Remember this, how the story washed across the continent and enslaved, flooded with the story of Àdwa in a whispered tidal wave. From Kenya to Senegal, from Morocco to the Gambia, the liberation began in Àdwa in 1896 and ended in South Africa. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so honored. That was so great. I was emotional, listening to all the poems you're reading. That's so great. Thank you very much indeed. So, Engineer Scare, come back again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful, both in Amharic and in English. It was a balancing act, and another young man from England. So we're trying to balance it from the US and from England. Now I'm going to introduce a person that doesn't need an introduction, especially in England, in Europe, the famous Professor Mambo Muche. He has worked in a number of universities in Europe, including in the United Kingdom and in Denmark, and now his latest is in South Africa. He's a professor, and he's into technology and creativity. He also has a number of organizations he leads. One of them is the Network of Ethiopian Scholars. And it's like Professor Tiraun, he is addicted to Ethiopia and Ethiopianism, and it kills him to see where we are in our history, especially the result of this ethnic politics. And he just came from another Adwa celebration from South Africa. Professor Mamo, please, the podium is yours.
Thank you. በጣም አመሰግናለሁ። በጣም ይሰማል? ጥሩ ነው?
You can practice your English also.
Okay, should I do it with English? Okay,
yes,
let me speak in English.
Yeah, that's
better.
Yes.
Sure. I just, I really appreciate you for doing the Adwa Great African Liberation annually. I think we should continue to celebrate it. We should not only celebrate it, we should also do some tangible output based on the Adwa victory lessons. From that, what can we do to help us create a strong, united Africa? I think we should work on it, because what Adwa victory did was those that were not united, that used to even fight with each other, when a foreign aggressor or enemy came, whatever differences they had, instead of being distracted by their differences, they decided to come together, unite, and did a strong, amazing strategy to defeat the enemy, and they did it decisively. And it's got a strong lesson, I think, for not just for us, for Ethiopia, but for even all those in the world that face this kind of challenge. So that's what Adwa victory has, this extraordinary recognition and distinction. And it actually continues, we call it, because as you know now, Ethiopia has always faced major difficulties, from all these external actors, although they have not formally colonized Ethiopia, but in various ways they have affected the Ethiopia's future and destiny. You can just take, for example, on the Grand Renaissance Dam, now we're struggling to have our own electricity and to use even our own water. There are about 11 treaties. In all these treaties, Ethiopia is excluded. It has never been included, despite the fact that most of the water comes from the Blue Nile. Ethiopia has not been included. The British, the Italians, the French, who wasn't involved? Almost all of them were involved. What did they do? They attacked Ethiopia. So Ethiopia, although we're not colonized, but we have always been under attack. And it's continuing. It hasn't stopped. So because of that, we do need the Adwa victory lesson very, very, very much. And that's what we should do. And another important thing is the current attack on the leadership, especially on Emperor Menelik, is also very, 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 really annoying very much. For us now to hear that in Addis, they didn't want to celebrate it, where the Emperor Menelik's statue is there and the square is there, is incredible. When we celebrated it in Cape Town, we actually had the Rastafarians and also many, many Africans. I was amazed that so many people from the rest of Africa participated and joined. I wish a lot of Ethiopians were able to see this, because it was amazing what I saw. and what really happened. And we joined them, we participated together, and what was fascinating is the knowledge they have about Ethiopia and the knowledge they have about Adwa victory. Not only that, also the knowledge they have about the Second World War. I heard today some of the initial discussions about even Emperor Haile Selassie and so on. All this Second World War, everything it's amazing what they did. That knowledge was spreading, including even young people were there, children were even there. I mean, from different parts of Africa. They were all using the Ethiopian flag. I mean, everything, just amazing. It's a fascinating thing to see it. And I just came back. It is in Cape Town, which is a bit far away from where I am now in Pretoria. So we spent 2 days there, really doing it, and it was very, very, very good. The important thing I must say is that the leadership side, the way people talk about Emperor Menelik from our side, because of the ethnic division we have, is very, very wrong. Emperor Menelik, I must just give you some quotations of how other people have said about Emperor Menelik, and instead of appreciating and recognizing this extraordinary leader, they now are attacking him. And, they created the Anore thing, if you know about that. Many strange things they have been doing. And this must be stopped. And this is not fair, what has happened. I just want to tell you a British one called Auguste Wade says, in the history of mankind, there has never been any other black man like Menelik who had triggered a lasting fear and doubt in the mind of all Europeans. They say that the victory of Adwa was not just a victory of Ethiopia over Italy. No, they said this is really an African victory, they called it, against Europe. And the Europeans themselves admitted in their press, they said this is the defeat, not just of Italy, but the defeat of all of us. And that's what they have been saying. And they were accusing very strongly about the leadership quality that Emperor Menelik and his wife, Keyedaito, all of them did. They were saying that, yeah. And let me just give you more quotations. Menelik, the great, inspired generations yet unborn with his daring defeat of the Italian army at the Battle of Adorama. He tried diplomacy and experienced cunning. He showed character and got, in return, snobbery and lies. And when he saw the signs of war, he rallied Ethiopian forces to defeat the enemy on African soil. This became one of the most important lessons of African history. This is also one of Molete Kete Asante. It's a book called Author of the History of Africa. He put it like that about him. Let me give you more. In 1896, it was evident that Europeans, even those who said they were the friends of Ethiopia, would come together and betray Menelik after the Treaty of Untitled. Africans were encouraged by the ultimate victory of Menelik's genius and the courage of his soldiers on the battlefield. Let our youth never forget the many heroes of our victories. Let our nations raise monuments to them in every city, teach lessons of resistance, selflessness, and African unity. This is what they say, and it's very important where we are now here in South Africa. We're trying to build Menelik Square or the Menelik roads and many things like that, so that we're also already in the place where I am in Pretoria. There's Haile Selassie Road. There's if you go to the two places I noticed, I have been seeing it. They have things like that. In fact, here in South Africa, they recognize and appreciate. And in Ethiopia, I don't know what's happening with all this ethnic war division that we have. We are attacking what the people we should not be attacked. And this is very, very important. Let me just give you more. Why I say this to you now is we should really, really challenge what they did. the current officials. I don't know, this guy who is called culture minister or some whatever. What he did, not to say that it should Adwa victory day should not be in the middle square. I mean, this is not good. If the American President John F. Kennedy, the French President Jacques Chirac, Muammar Gaddafi all recognized Azerbaijan as the greatest African leader for ably leading and winning the Adwa victory to make Africa free, why are some in current Ethiopia use ethnic bias and fail to recognize this great African leader? This is very, very important because even we heard that Gaddafi had a picture all the time as a Middle East picture, as a great leader, as a great African leader. I mean, he did. And all of them have acknowledged him very well. So all I'm simply saying, why I mentioned this to you is that he's done many things. So we should appreciate whatever mistake all of us make mistakes, we're all humans. But the key achievements they made should not be really rejected by politics. Politics is not clean. It's very unclean. Politicians, I really, what I see, they are very complicated. Because of that, I really appreciate all of you to be very strong, and let's now try to use these negative things we hear from these people to make sure that we value, appreciate, and recognize the real achievements that the leadership, the quality leadership they left for giving us the great Adwa victory. This Adwa victory is not just our victory, it's a victory of Africa. We actually created what we call ADAWA, Adwa Great African Victory Association. And we are working on it very much, where we are thinking of creating a handbook. We're thinking of really creating very, very strong things. All the education, Pan-African University, many things like that around this, so that the Adwa victory continues. It should not stop until we are all united, until Africa is really united. Adwa victory.
Thank you, Professor Mamo. If you can wrap it up, and also if you can integrate it to the Fairfield House. We are also trying to create awareness towards the Fairfield House, and if you can integrate it with the Fairfield House and the work we are doing, and wrap it up in 2 minutes, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No, it's fine. I appreciate very much that what is being done. All this, not just Fairfield. Also, we need to do it even in our own, especially in Ethiopia. We need really very strong restitution. Remember all the things that have been stolen across the world. There must be ways by which we bring back extraordinary knowledge that has been taken from us, and restitution. I was recently, in fact, Professor Alula Pankhurst, I was with him. He was here in Pretoria. We're discussing about that very, very strongly. That within the Adwa victory, around that, what happened, and then later, before that, Mandela, and all these things, we should create even a really restorative, not just the one we have here in England, others, but let's try to find a way to bring it back in Ethiopia, and then from Ethiopia we should make it an African-wide victory kind of thing situation. I think I would like very much for us to work on this very systematically, and also the reparation they must pay for all the hurt they created to Ethiopia. All that has to be done, but if we're united, it's easy to do it. If we're divided, always we have challenges. But now the problem is that the colonial project is now being is translated with ethnic division. That ethnic division is actually, it is something that helps colonialism. It does not help. So we need Adwa victory to end it, because we must draw that great lesson from our victory. Thank you very much.
If you are not tired, you can stay along, so people ask questions, we'll send it to you. We really appreciate it. What time is it in South Africa now, Professor?
It's now nearly midnight. It's going to be midnight in half an hour.
We really appreciate this. Engineer Fassad, take it and introduce our friend Thomas Benji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was Professor Mamovic. That was so great. We've met before in London. You may not remember me, but we have met before.
Yes.
We had a great word of exchange. We had a great time, I remember. But please, yes, what a wonderful, listening to you. And I do share your views. We all must remember our history. And, it's important. We must remember and share, tell our history. And not just simply talk and share and blah, blah, but do something tangible as it's there. I do share that. And I'm happy to help in any way, shape or forms. So, yes, we won't just simply drop it. We won't just simply talking. We will try to achieve something great, which will be exemplar, symbol. And it stays for our generation, for everyone. So, I'm happy to help on that.
Let me interrupt this for 1 second, Engineer. I want the technical group to unmute Dr. Gawayo Jigu from Arizona, as well as Ato Kidani Alamayo from Dallas, and I think Ato Sai from Tennessee is already unmuted. After Benji, I want to give them 1 minute for participating in this to say a few words, and I'll let you go ahead and introduce Ras Benji.
Okay, I think Benji already said his part. Benji, if you want to say something, you're more than welcome to add some more. Benji, you there? Okay. You had it. Benji, Ras Benji.
Yeah, just give thanks for a wonderful evening and all the contributions. They've been fascinating, and we really look forward. Maybe we can do some kind of live stream from the Sunday event when the Ethiopian community will be here at Fairfield House, and we'll send that out across the world, or we'll take lots of videos and things so that we can share this event that happens here, the same as this evening, just it be international, and keep supporting the house and stay in tune with all the things that we're doing. Give thanks.
Thank you, Ras Benji, for missing your presentation, for coming.
That's great.
So
should we have some music? Should we have some music now, or should we bring the people?
Let's give this three individuals, because we have quite a few people from the US who joined us. And I want to start out with Dr. Gawayo from Arizona to say a few words for a minute, and then followed by Ato Kidani Alamayo, these are our senior members, and then after Ato Kidani, Ato Sai from Tennessee. Go ahead, Dr. Gawayo. From Arizona. Ato Kidani Alamayo from Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. Ato Kidani.
Yes, thank you.
Salam.
You prefer it in English, I presume.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Yes. I just want to make 3 minor points in 1 minute. Number one, I want to express my deep appreciation and thanks to the organizers of this magnificent commemoration event. I really appreciate it. Number two, I want to just mention that when the Ujale Treaty was signed, my own ancestor, Abanada, or that is his nom de guerre, or Efaresim, and his real name was Kanyazmach Delda South. He was there. He was a member of the delegation led by Ras Makonnen to Italy for the finalization of the treaty. When they found out that this Article 17 dangerous was there, and they objected to it right there. But why I'm mentioning it is that they received a loan of 4 million lire, the currency, Italian currency, half of which was used to buy Italian military equipment, which was used in the ዓድዋ War after 8 years. So that is one point of history that needs to be mentioned. Number two is that, as Lieutenant mentioned, the Italians returned after 40 years and committed huge war crimes of genocide. I would like to mention to all the participants here to kindly please access the website globalallianceforethiopia.net. Let me repeat, globalallianceforethiopia.net, where you find the information about that war and the crime committed. But there is also an appeal asking the Vatican to apologize to the Ethiopian people for its complicity with fascist Italy. That's all I need to say. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Gashkilani. We appreciate your wisdom, and as a senior member of the Ethiopian community in the US, we appreciate what you do. Next, Dr. Gawayo, please make Dr. Gawayo a co-host or unmuted, please. Okay, Dr. Gawayo Jigu from Arizona has been assistant provost in a number of universities, and is also one of those people who's addicted to Ethiopia, and has been in retirement for the last 4 years. Dr. Gawayo, let's say a few words of wisdom for our friends both in the US and in England. Thank you.
Thank you, Scan, for giving me this opportunity. The message I want to convey is better said in Amharic, so I'm going to say it in Amharic. መጀመሪያ ወንድሜ ማሙጬ ተፈላሁን ወንድም ሰለሞን በጣም ነው የኮራሁባችሁ። እግዚአብሔር እድሜውን ይስጣችሁ ማስተማሩን ትቀጥሉ። ሁለተኛ ትናንትና ዛሬ ያሉት ወይ የኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ የሚሆነውን ነገር እከታተል ነበር እና እንደተለመደው በጣም ያበሳጨኝ ነገር ሆነ። አንደኛው አዲስ የተሾመው ሰውዬ በዓሉ መስቀል ማነው ምኒልክ አደባባይ ሳይሆን አድዋ አደባባይ ነው የሚል አዋራ በተነ። ቀጥሎ የአንዱ አስተዳደር ገዢ ትልቅ መግለጫ አውጥቶ ረጅም መግለጫ አውጥቶ ተሳስቶ እንኳ አንድ ጊዜ የምኒልክን ስም ሳይጠራ ጨረሰው። በጣም ይገርመኛል። አገሪቱ አሁኑ ባለችበት ሁኔታ ይሄን መነቋቆር ሊያመጣ ስራ መስራት መቼ እንደምናቆም ሊገባኝ አይችልም። ደግነቱ የአዲስ አበባ ወጣትና የአካባቢው ህዝብ ሙሉ ብቅ ብሎ በዓሉ በምኒልክ አደባባይ በአድዋ አደባባይ በደንብ ተከበረ። ይሄንን ሁኔታ መቀጠል አለበት። ታሪካችን ያላወቅ ፕሮፌሰር ጥላሁን እንዳለው ጥሩ ብሔር ልንሆን አንችልም፣ ጥሩ ህዝብ ልንሆን አንችልም፣ ጥሩ አገር ልንሆን አንችልም እና ይሄን ለማለት ነው። በጣም ነው ደስ ያለኝ በመገኘቴ። አዘጋጆቹ ይሄን አይነት ፕሮግራም በማዘጋጀታችሁ ክብር ምስጋና ይገባችኋል። አመሰግናለሁ። ደህና ዋሉ።
Okay, thank you from Arizona. Now it is from Tennessee. You are already a co-host. Now to Saida Maga, please, for a few minutes. He's an IT expert and he's working in the university there. He's been working on the Ethiopia issue for the last 30-40 years. Almost to Sahel.
Hello, ይሰማል?
አዎ በደንብ ትሰማለ። ያላስተዋወቁት ካለ አንተ ጨምርበት።
ነገር ብዙ የለም።
ባለቤቱ ደግሞ ወይዘሮ ሳራ ትባላለች። እንዴት አይነት ፖት ነች። ኔክስት ታይም ግጥም ጽፍልናለች ለሚቀጥለው ዓመት ወደዚህ
እነግራለሁ። በጣም አመሰግናለሁ አዘጋጆቹን በተለይ ኢንጂነር ፍስሐ ኢንጂነር እስቄል እዚህ ያቀረባችሁ በሙሉ ፕሮፌሰር ማሞንን በማየት ደስ ብሎኛል። ይሄ ትልቅ በዓል ነው፣ የሚያኮራን በዓል ነው። አሁን ዶክተር ገበየው ሜንሽን ያደረገው አይነት ሰው እንደዛ አይነት እርምጃ ሲወስድ የሚያሳየው ነገር ቢኖር የኛን ድካም እኛ ደካማ በመሆናችንና ልክ አሁን በሚሰራው ስራ አይነት በብዛት ብንሰራበት ውጤቱን ልንቀይረው እንችላለን። አዲስ አበባ የተደረገውን ይቅርታ ስራ ላይ ሆኜ እና እንግዲህ አንድ ጥያቄ ይኖረኛል ኢንጂነር እስቄል ወደ በኋላ ላዞረው መሰለኝ ለዶክተር ሰለሞን ወይስ አሁኑኑ ላድርግና
መጣ ይችላል እና በኋላም ማስተዋወቅ ይችላል።
ዶክተር ሰለሞን ሜንሽን አድርገህ ብዙ ያልታወቀና ብዙ የማይባል የፋሾዳ ኢንሲደንት ከኢትዮጵያ ታሪክ ጋር ከሁለት ዓመት በኋላ ከአድዋ ስለሆነ የተፈጠረው በእንግሊዝና በፈረንሳይ መካከል የኢትዮጵያውያን ተሳትፎ ነበረበት ወይ ወደ ጦርነት ቢሄድ ኖሮ ያ ምን ያመጣ ነበር የሚለውን ትንሽ ብትገልጽልን ብዬ ነው።
ኦኬ ታንክ ዩ። ግን በኋላ ጥያቄና መልስ ላይ ፕሮፌሰር ሰለሞን መልስ እንዳለ አሁን ወደ መጨረሻው የተቃረቡ ስለሆነ ቢፎር አይ ይልድ ባክ ማይ እንትን ታይም ቱ ኢንጂነር ፍስሐ እኔ ይህንን እድል ተጠቅሜ ፊወርድ ለማለት ፈልጋለሁኝ። አሁን ሀገራችን የደረሰችበትን ሁኔታ በአማርኛ ነው የምከፍለው። ይህንን በሚመለከት ዝም ብለን ማየት የለብንም። እንደውም እኔ ሌት ስለመጣ ነው እንጂ አት ዘ ቢጊኒንግ አድርገዋለሁ ብዬ ነበረ። በተለይ በዘር ላይ የተመረኮዘ ጭብጨባ የሚደረግበትን የአማራውን ህዝብ የአፋሩን ህዝብ ጦርነት አልቋል እየተባለ ስቲል እየሞቱ ያሉትን በምዕራብ ወለጋ እንደዚሁ ሃይማኖትንና ኢትዮጵያዊነትን አማራነትን የሚመስል ነገር ሁሉ እያዩ የሚደረገው ጭብጨባ መቃወም አለብን። እያየን ዝም ማለት የለብንም። በጠቅላላው ይህም ጦርነት ከተነሳ ጊዜ ጀምሮ ያረፉትን ወንድሞቻችንን እህቶቻችንን እና ሰራዊት ውስጥ ያሉትን በማሰብ በተለይ ደግሞ እንድታስቡ የምፈልገው በእህቶቻችን ላይ የሚደረገው ጭብጨባ በኢትዮጵያ ካልቸር የሌለ በግሩፕ ሴቶችን መድፈር፣ ባል እያየ ሴትን መድፈር፣ መግደል ይሻላል። እንደዛ አይነት ነገር ያመጡብንን እያሰባችሁ በአንድ ደቂቃ የህሊና ጸሎት እንድናደርግ አደራ ነበር እና የእናንተ ዘመዶች፣ የእናንተ እህቶች፣ የእናንተ እናቶች እንደዚህ ቢሆኑ ምን አይነት ስሜት እንደሚሰማቸው አንድ ደቂቃ እንውሰድና እናስብ፣ እናስታውስ፣ እንታገል ሀገራችንን አንድ ደቂቃ። በጣም እናመሰግናለን። የአማራ ጥያቄ የኢትዮጵያ ጥያቄ ነው። የወልቃይት ጥያቄ የኢትዮጵያ ጥያቄ ነው። ወልቃይት እንዳላይ ያለው እያለ ያስልኮ መልስ በመለስ የሚባል ነገር መታሰብ የለበትም። ይህንን ለመናገር ፈልጌ ነው። ዝም ብለን እያየን አይደለም። ዝም ማለት እያዩ ክራይም ሲሰራ ዝም ማለት አሁን አንድ ጊዜ ኤግዛምፕል የሰጠው የቨርጂኒያ ህግ ነው። ኤዲንግ ኤንድ አቤዲንግ ይሉታል ዶሮች ወይም ደግሞ ቢንግ ኮምፕሊስ ቱ ክራይም በብዙ ዓመት እንዳስከልሜ ሁሉ ስራት የሚያስከትል ነው። ባንካፈልበት እንኳን እያወቅ እየሰማ ይሄ ነገር ሲደረግ ማለት ክራይም። ጨርሻለሁ። ኢንጂነር ፍስሐ ውሰደው እና ወደሚቀጥለው ፕሮግራም እንሻገር።
Thank you very much, everyone, again. Great. So many great things, really. I'm just humbled and just sitting back listening to everyone. It's very, very thank you indeed. I'm sorry I'm a little bit of rushing, but we have got another amazing music, beautiful music. In fact, the music emphasizes and talks about Empress Taitu. We have a lady, Yezenash, Yezinash is with us. Yezinash, please, can we see you and play that music for us? I know you have a new album came out. Yezinash, I think, lives in London. So Yezinash, please, we've not met properly, but I appreciate. Thank you so much for accepting this invitation. And please, the stage is yours, Yezinash. Now, signal about that.
ጤና ይስጥልኝ ብያለሁ።
ጤና ይስጥልኝ።
እንዴት ናችሁ? እንዴት ከረማችሁ? እንኳን ለ126ኛው የዓድዋ በዓል አደረሳችሁ። እሺ
You look beautiful, by the way.
ለማድረግ ነው ያው እንግዲህ ሙዚቀኛንም አብሬ ከአዲሱ ሙዚቃ ጋር ፀሐይቱ ከሚለው ጋር ለእናንተ ትንሽ ለማቅረብ ነው። እሺ
Wonderful. Okay.
Thank you, that was so beautiful. Like, but I'm just singing. The finishing, because but there's some definition. I've heard your music before. I know you don't know me, so I appreciate you for coming to perform for us. Really, really good. I was feeling it, you know. Goosebumps, as I said.
ዘፈን ብቻ አይደለም ልብሱ በጣም አሪፍ ነው መልኩም አሪፍ ነው ደንበኛ ኢትዮጵያዊታችን ነሽ እናመሰግናለን
አመሰግናለሁ እንግዲህ
ኦኬ ማለት
የኛው ነው የጋበዝኳቸው
እሺ
ቪዲዮ ኦንላይን ላይ ያለን እንግዲህ እዚህ ሀገር ሲዲው ሪሊዝ እየሆነ ነው ስንገናኝ ደግሞ ሲዲውን በስጦታ ሰጣለሁ አመሰግናለሁ
ወደ አመሰግናለሁ እግዚአብሔር ከፈቀደ መጪው እሑድ እንገናኝ ይሆናል በአካል በደንብ
የሚገባ
ከተመስገን ጋር እንደ እግዚአብሔር ፈቃድ We're so honored to have you. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, really. You know, goosebumps, as they say, you're not the balance. Thank you very much. So we should go on to where is index?
I'm here. I'm here. እሺ አልበጣም
Yes, so let me introduce Dala. So yes, we are Dala, Index, as is known for Ethiopian Tribune. So you did very well. So yes, we did send show last year as well. There was a lot of appreciation and yes, it was a great work last year. So Dala, thank you very much. Maybe you should add more things about the thing you do, and then let's move into. I know we maybe running a bit late, but move into a Q&A session. If people have any question, please. Everyone maybe chat write your question if you wish, or say in words, all is welcome. But Indala, you take it from here.
Thank you.
It's your show now.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. It's my show. ያው ተገፍተናል ተጨቁነናል ያው ሰልፍ መውጣታችን አይቀሬ ነው እዚህ ላይ አንድ ወንድማችን አለ አብሮ ሲዘፍን የነበረ በላይ የሚባል እንደው ጥያቄዎቹ እስኪመጡ ድረስ እንደው አንድ ሁለት ቀረርቶ ብታረግልን ስለፋኖ ብትዘምር አሁን በቀደምለት አዘጋጅቶ ነበር ኢትዮጵያን ኮሚኒቲ እሁድለት በጣም 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 የሚነካ ዝናሽም ነበረች በጣም የሚነካ ነገር ነው ያረጋውና እንደው በላይ አንሚዩት yourself እንደው ብታንቆራቁሩልን በጣም አመሰግናለሁ እንግዲህ ቢኒ በትረዳኝ እዚህ ላይ አንሚዩት ብታረገው በላይን
በላይ ለስለሙ ማን ነው
በላይ በቃ ኢስ ኦኬ በል ሂድ unmute yourself አንተ ጋር unmute አድርገው ድምጽ አይሰማንም ይሰማችኋል ድምጹ ድምጹ አይሰማም
አይሰማም የበላይ ድምጽ
ከውስጥ ነው መሰማት አለበት አንሚዩት ነው
እንግዲህ ማይኩ
ሚዩት ያርግና እንደገና ሚዩት ያርግ
እንደገና yes
አንሚዩት እስከሚያደርግ ድረስ እህታችንን የዝናን አመስግነዋል ወንድሞቻችን እህቶቻችን እዚህ ያሉ ቅድም ለፕሮፌሰር ሰለሞን ጥያቄ ቀርቦ ነበርና እስቄል ጥያቄውን
ፕሮፌሰር ሰለሞን ጥያቄውን አቶ ከነሴ ጠይቀው ነበር
ፕሮፌሰር ሰለሞን
አለ አንሚዩት አድርግ ፕሮፌሰር ሰለሞን
እሺ
አዳምጠዋል ጥያቄው ነው ሲደገም
አስታውሳለሁ
አንተ እንደኛ አላረጀህም ወጣት ነህ ማስታወስ አለብህ ፕሮፌሰር
እሺ በጣም አመሰግናለሁ እና ምንድነው አጼ ምኒልክ ስልጣን ላይ እንደወጡ መጀመሪያ ያደረጉት ነገር ድንበራቸውን ለአውሮፓውያኑ ማሳወቅ ነው እና ይህን ድንበር በሚያሳውቁበት ጊዜ መጀመሪያ ላይ ምንም መልስ አልሰጧቸውም እና ግራ ገባቸው እኔ ለምንድነው ሲሉ ያቺ የውጭ ዓድዋ ነገር ኖራ በጣሊያኖች በአውሮፓውያን በኩልና የሚል በጣሊያኖች በኩልና የሚል መልስ ነው የሰጧቸው እና ራሻኖቹ ናቸው ምኒልክ ጣሊያኖች ሸውደዋል አጨርረዋል ብለው ነገሩን ያስረዷቸው እና እንግዲህ ይሄ ኢቨንት እንዳለ እንደሚታየው ይሄን ድንበር የማስከበሩ ነገር ይጀምራሉ ማለት ነው እና በተለያየ ቦታ ሰዎች ይልካሉ እንደሚባለው ከሆነ ፈረንሳዮቹ ከእንግሊዞች ጋር በተለይ በስዊዝ ካናል በነበራቸው ፍክክር ስለተበለጡ እንግሊዞችን ከግብፅ የማስወጣት ፍላጎት ነበራቸው እና አጼ ምኒልክን እርዳታ ጠይቋቸዋል ይባላል ሳፕላይ ወዘተ ለማግኘት ጠይቋቸዋል ይባላል እና ከዚህ ጋር በተያያዘ ማይት ቢኮንጁሪንግ ከዚህ ጋር በተያያዘ ራስ ተሰማ ባቀማው ይመስለኛል ዛሬ ኢሉ አባቦራ ወይም ደግሞ ኢሉ ባቦር ወደሚባለው ቦታ ይልኳቸዋል እንግዲህ ኢሉ ባቦር እንደምታዩት ወደ ሱዳን ውስጥ ገባ ያለች ነች እና አሁን እዛ ይሄዳሉ ይገባሉ ድንበራቸውን ባንዲራ ይተክላሉ ምን ይላሉ እንግዲህ ድንበር ለመከለል ነው ነገር ግን የሚባለው ምንድነው ፈረንሳዮቹን ለመርዳት ጭምር ታስቦ የተላከ ሚሽን ነው ይባላል ሆኖም ፈረንሳዮቹ ከሴኔጋል ነው የሚጀምሩት ከሴኔጋል ጀምረው መርከብ ተሸክመው ምናምን ሲል ደልንካም በተባለ ጊዜ ሊደርሱ አልቻሉም በመሃሉ ያ አካባቢ እንደምታውቁት ረገረጋማ ወባ ያለበት ከዛ በላይ ደግሞ ይሄ ጸጸት ላይ የሚባለው ከብት በጣም የሚያስቸግር እንትን ነበርና እንደምታውቁት ያኔ የኢትዮጵያ ጦር ሲዘምት እንዲያው ምግባችን ጊዜ ውስጥ ካለ ዝም ብላችሁ አስቡ አንድ ከባህል አንጻርም ለመናገር የምፈልገው ነገር ስላለ ቆሎ ቺኮ ቋንጣ ቸቸብሳ ቆሪ ቡነቀላ ጥሬ ስጋ እነኚህ ሁሉ እና የእንጀራ ኮቸሮ ወይም ድቆሽ ተደርገው ነው አባባል እነኚህ ዳቦ ቆሎ እነኚህ ሁሉ የምግብ ባህላችንን ተመሳሳይነት ከማሳየት አልፈው አንድ መልእክት አላቸው ይህም እነኚህ ምግቦች በሙሉ የተዘጋጁ ለረጅም ጊዜ ሊቆዩ የሚችሉ በጦርነት በዘመቻ ላይ የምንመገባቸው ምግቦች ናቸው ዛሬ ክትፎ ሲባል ቁርጥ ሲባል ለዝና ይመስለን አይደለም ዘመቻ ላይ ሲዘን ጦሩ ከብት ይዞ ነው እየነዳ ነው የሚሄደው እና ወይም ጠላት አካባቢ ሲገባ ከብቱን ዘርፎ ነው የሚበላው እና አንድ የአውሮፓዊ ጸሐፊ አሁን ስሙ ተዘንግቶኝ ነው እንጂ ሁለት ነገሮች ይናገራል ስለ ከብት አናቶሚ ስለ እንደ ኢትዮጵያውያን የሚያውቅ የለም ይላል ማለት ስለ ከብት ብልት ይላል እና አንዱ ይሄው ሰውዬ ይሁን ሌላው ወደ ዘመቻ ይሄዱ ነበርና በሬውን በቁሙ በሉት ይላል እና ሲበላ ራሱ ዛሬ እንዲህ ተደርጎ ነው ያኔ እንዲህ ነው እና ኤኒዌይ ከብቱ አለቀ ከብቱ የጭነቱ አጋሰሱ ማለት ነው እና የቁንከብቱ ሲያል ራስ ተሰማ ባቀማው ተመለሱ ድንበሩን እዛ ላይ ባንዲራውን የሚደረገው ነገር ተመለሱ እንግሊዞች ፈረንሳዮች ረስተው ስለነበረ ማን ዘግይተው ስለነበረ ባለታም እነሱ ሲመጡ ኪችነር የሚባለው የእንግሊዙ ጀነራል ኦልሬዲ ብዙ ጦር ይዞ መጥቶ ነበርና ምናልባት ያን ቢዋጉ የመጀመሪያው ዓለም ጦርነት እዛ ይጀመር ነበር ይባላል ደቡብ ሱዳን ላይ ግን ምኒልክ የተጠቀሙት ምንድን ነው የሁለቱን ሀያል መንግስታት ቅራን ጠብ ለራሳቸው ጠቀሜታ ለሀገራቸው ጠቀሜታ ሊያውሉ ነበር ተብሎ ይነገራል ማለት ነው ይሄን
ፕሮፌሰር አንድ ጥያቄ አለ ተስፋ ምንድነው ቆሪ ምንድነው ኮቸራ ከምግባት እንግዲህ ምግቦች ናቸው ቢያብራሩልን ማናውቅ ሰዎች ሊኖር ስለሚችል
እኔ ሬስቶራንት አልከፈትኩም አብራራ አልችልም እሺ ለምንድነው መመለስ የምትችሉ ሰዎች ካላችሁ መመለስ ይቻላል ቡና ቀላ የሚባለው ቡና ነው ለምሳሌ አረሰው ቁጢ ይላል ቁጢ ከቡና ቅጠል ተቆልጦ ቡና ሱስ ያለበት ሰው የሚጠጣው ቡና ነው የሚሸጠው ቡና ይላል ሲጠጣም ስለጠጣው ማለት ነው ቆሪ ቡና ቀላ እንግዲህ ምንድነው ቡናው ይቆላና ቅቤ ውስጥ ይከተታል ቅቤ ፕሪዘርቫቲቭ ነው እንደምታውቁት እንደገና ምድነት አለው ያኛው ደግሞ ካፊን አለው ያ በከረጢት ፓውች rather በፓውች ያዝና ሁለት ሶስቷን ፍሬ ኮርሸም ሲያደርጓት ወዲያው አንቴና መስራት ፀሐይ ማየት ጆሮ መስራት ጀምራል የሚገርማችሁ ነገር ስታርባክስ እንደዚህ አይነት ነገር በቾኮላት ሸክሞ ቡና ይሸጣል ትዝ ያለኝ ያን በጣም ኢንስተንት ኮፊ እንደማለት ነው ቅቤው ላው ላይ ሁሉ ይገኛል እና ያ በድግስ ጊዜ ለምሳሌ ሰርግ በሚደረግበት ጊዜ የሚቀርብ አንድ ቫራይቲ ነው። ወደ ሰሜን ኢትዮጵያ አካባቢ ደግሞ ቅቤ ካለ ቅቤ ከሌለ በቅባኑ ማለት ያው ከኑግ የተገኘ ዘይት ማለት ዛሬ ዘይት ነው የምንለው፣ ድሮ ቅባኑ ይባላል። በዛ ታሽቶ የገብስ ቆሎ ሰነፍ ቆሎ ይባላል። ያ ለረዥም ጊዜ የሚቆየው የሚታሸው በቅባት የሚታሸው ሞይስቸር እንዳይዝ እርጥበት እንዳይዝና አፍላይ ወከክ እንዲል እና ፕሪዘርቭ ለማድረግ ታስቦ ጣዕም ይጨምራል። ያ ነው። ሌላ ምንድን ነው? ኮቾሮ ማለት የደረቀ እንጀራ ማለት የኔ ጸጉር ያለውን ካለ ኮቾሮ ራስ ጥያቄውን የመለስኩ ይመስለኛል። ሌላ ጥያቄ ካለ እቀበላለሁ። አመሰግናለሁ።
በጣም እናመሰግናለን ፕሮፌሰር። መቼስ ቅድም ወንድማችን እምቢ ብሎት ነበር፣ መግባቱ አይቀርም። ሲገባ ጋብዣዋለሁ እና በላይ ይሰማሃል የምናገረው?
ይሰማኛል።
አዎ ዝለቅ።
ኦኬ ቴንክ ዩ እንዳለ አመሰግናለሁ። በላይ መልሴ ይባላለሁ። ለንደን ነው የምኖረው እና ስለጋበዛችሁኝ አመሰግናለሁ። አንድ ጌታቸው ካሳን እና ሌላ አንድ ሙዚቃ ጋብዛችኋለሁ።
ቴንክ ዩ
የብዙሃን እናት በጥያቄ ምንላት እማማ ናትና ሀገሬ ናት እንኳን በአድዋ በማይጨው የሞቱላት ሕፃን ሽማግሌ የተሰየፈላት እኔም በተጠንቀቅ አለሁሽ የምላት ጎጆዬ ናትና ሀገሬ ናት እንኳን የብዙሃን እናት መጠጊያዬ ምላት እማማ ናትና ኢትዮጵያ ናት እንኳን ወንዱ ብሎም ዘራይ ድረስ የሞተላት ሕፃን ሽማግሌው የተዋደቀላት ደመ መራራና ቁጡነት ያለባት ጎጆዬ ናትና ሀገሬ ናት እንኳን።
ፋንታስቲክ
ሳትና ጀግና ደስ ይለኛል ሳትና ሲታጠቅ ማለዳ ሳትና ጎበዝ ደስ ይለኛል ሳትና ሲታጠቅ ማለዳ ሳትናው የሚያበላ መስሎ ሳትናው የሚገኝ እንግዳ ሳትናው የሚሸኝ እንግዳ ኧረ ፋኖ ፋኖ 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 አገሩ ገባ ቸበለው ወረ ቸበለው ቸበለው ወረ ቸበለው ቸበለው ፋኖዬ የአገሬ ልጅ ወገኔ እስኪ ብቅ በል ከጎኔ ፋኖዬ የአገሬ ልጅ ወገኔ እስኪ ብቅ በል ከጎኔ ቸበለው ኧረ ቸበለው ቸበለው ኧረ ቸበለው ቸበለው የተፋው ሰው ሲሞት ቸበለው ይሉታል አረፈው ቸበለው አፈር ስንቁ ላይ ሆነ ቸበለው ሆዱን ሳይመልሰው ቸበለው የድኩላ ስጋ ቸበለው ሆዴን እያባለው ቸበለው ማናለኝ ማናለ ቸበለው ለማን ሰው ልንገረው ቸበለው ወደ ቸበለው ቸበለው ቴንክ ዩ አመሰግናለሁ እግዚአብሔር ይስጥልኝ
በጣም እናመሰግናለን በጣም እናመሰግናለን በጣም እናመሰግናለን ወየ ወየ
ጊዜ ስታገኝ መልእክት ልክ ያለውኝ ፕሮፌሰር አሰፋ ምህረቱን ከሚchigan አንድ ደቂቃ ብትሰጡልኝ በማከሉ በጣም አመሰግናለሁ
ኦኬ
ትልቅ ጂኦግራፈር ናቸው
ኦኬ አድሚናችን አንሚዩት ብታረጋቸው አሰፋ ምህረቱን አዎ he is a co-host በአማርኛ ነው በእንግሊዘኛ ነው ኦኬ ኦኬ ፕሮፌሰር welcome professor the mic is yours
on no Michael
Bini
he's a coast. You should. ሁለት እንትን ነው የገባው actually. ሁለቱም coast አሉ። በጣም ኦኬ። እኔ አው ቼክ go to the next
engineer scale and index. While we're waiting, Dr. Amara sent me a great message earlier. I wonder if he's still there. He's a good friend of Gash Kifle from our area. You can hear me okay, I hope. I had to change my computer. So
loud and clear,
fantastic. Is Dr. Amara there? I hope he's there still. Gash Kifle, he was telling me, I wish he could say himself, if he's there, rather than me saying it. Dr. Amara, are you there? He's in Sweden at the moment.
Okay, well, Dr. Amara is waiting, and Professor Asafa ምህረቱ also waiting, and we also want to recognize Eleanor Conley. She's also with us. She can say also a few words, Eleanor.
If Dr. Amara is not there, yes, Eleanor, she's there somewhere. My wife, Eleanor, there.
Yes, welcome Eleanor again.
Surprise call.
I'm happy doing the technical support behind the scenes, but what a privilege it has been this evening to hear this amazing program. So many amazing contributions, the wisdom and the knowledge and the interesting insights and the amazing talents of the musicians and the poets. It really has been an extraordinary evening, and it really is a privilege to be here and to listen to it all. So thank you all so much. It's been a real delight.
Okay, hopefully we'll see you in person next year.
Yes, I hope so.
Okay, take it and
okay. The doctor has been unmute.
Okay, Professor Asafa.
I'm asking him to unmute.
Professor Asafa ምህረቱ, please.
Yes, he's all right. Welcome, sir.
I think you have two things. Mute one of them.
Salam. ይሰማል?
Loud and clear.
ይሰማል?
Oh, good. There is an echo. I think the computer በስልኩ ገብቷል። ስፒከሩን እና ማይኩን ገብቷል። Professor Asafa is Professor Emeritus at Michigan State, world-renowned geographer. And also,
can you hear me? Okay, Engineer Gelta, thank you very much and all of you for organizing this. This was a pleasure and an honor, actually. Thank you also for calling my name. I'm not prepared to make any educated comments, but I really I want to express my happiness about this occasion and the celebration of Adwa victory, and to recognize, of course, our great leaders, including the great Menelik and Haile Selassie. And I also would like to thank my colleagues, Solomon from here, from Michigan, for making an excellent presentation, and all of you that have spoken. I really appreciate this occasion, and the singers who filled our hearts with so much emotion and happiness and pride in our culture. I really want to thank everyone for doing this, and let's do it again. And I also want to recognize Professor from Davis. I forgot his name. Cloud. I really like what he said, especially about doing something to memorialize Queen Taitu. I will be one of those who would like to see a statue by her husband, or somewhere in a more prominent location, or same location. That's really a very good idea. In any case, I like also the points he made about Ethiopia and the sorts of enemies Ethiopia had, and that our obligation to know the source of problems that we're facing in trying to divide us. The most important message for today will be, let's unite. Let's come together as brothers, as we have been before the divisive elements started around the mid-1970s and continued until about 2-3 years ago. Let's do what Menelik did and bring all of us together in victory of togetherness for Ethiopia. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate and admire all of you for what you've done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Our celebration will continue.
Index, if you don't mind, a moment for Dr. Amara. If he's there, he was really saying he would like to donate some of his book to Fairfield House, and etc. He was chatting to me in a separate messenger. He's written a book about Adwa himself, from the message I'm getting, and I wish he's there to give us a bit about his background and what he's really proposing.
Binyam is saying he's not with us.
He's not there anymore.
Yeah.
He lives in Sweden, I think, Stockholm. Yeah, so I guess it is 2 hours ahead. It's a bit late for him. But okay, I'll catch up with him. Yes, Gash Kufle is there. Maybe you could say a few. He's a good friend of Gash Kufle. I wonder if Gash Kufle is there. He could say a few things. Yeah.
Binyam, have you seen him?
See Gash Kufle there?
No.
They just need to unmute themselves.
Oh, he's there? Okay. Gash Kufle, I can't see him, but...
Kufle is just not there. Okay, is Balletta there? Balle is also another friend. He's in Paris at the moment, Balletta.
I've seen him. Yeah, he's there. He's the co-host now.
Balle, are you there from Paris? Could you say a few words? Unfortunately, Gash Kufle is not there. I don't know what happened. And also, do you know Dr. Amara at all is proposing to donate his book he's written about Adwa and something like that. I will chat to him separately. But Bale.
I'm asking him to unmute.
Both of them are online and Gash Kifle, Gash Viletasco.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. So, both of them play a big part as well in this Àdwa victory celebration, you know, galvanizing everyone, supporting, etc. Please say a few words. I say nothing now. Oh, can you unmute your camera, Gash? Can't see you, if possible.
Never mind, I look better without my face. May I say something a bit personal?
Yes, please, go ahead.
My great-grandfather, Ras Deluso Nasibu, and his father, Afadux Nasibu, I think they were both participants at the Battle of Adorama. So I thought I would mention that.
Very welcome, very welcome.
But I wish Dr. Amara was here. Like all our distinguished scholar guests, he would have had something to contribute. He has written a novel about Adwa. He's a very learned gentleman, and he has had wide and varied experience working in different parts of the world. So it would have been very nice to have had him. Maybe next time we will arrange it so that he can say a few words to us. That's all I have to say. And thank you to all of you organizers. You have done a fantastic job. We are very proud of you.
Thank you very much, Gash Kifle.
Thank you.
Is Berle there as well? Quickly, you could say something, Berle.
Let me.
You unmute yourself, and you can put the camera on as well if you don't mind. Unless you're in pajamas.
I'm almost. Am I on?
Yes, you're on.
Okay. እኔ የዛሬው ቀን በጣም ደስ ብሎኛል። አሁን እዚህ ትንሽ መሸት ብሏል። ፓሪስ ነው ያለሁት። በተለይ ከአገር ቤት የሚሰማው ዜና በጣም የሚያሳዝን ነው። የተሻለ ጊዜ መጣን እያልን ስንል ሚኒሊክ ስሙ እንዳይጠራና የሚኒሊክ የድል በዓል በሚኒሊክ አደባባይ እንዳይከበር የሚደረገው እንትን በጣም የሚያሳዝን ነው። ቢመች ቢሆን አሁን ዛሬ በተሰበሰብነው ሰዎች ስም ይህንን ሁኔታ የሚቃወም አንድ መግለጫ ብናወጣ ደስ ይለኛል። ከዛ ሌላ የተቻለን ያህል ተሯሩጠናል። የአንዳንድ ጓደኞቼ ከ50 ዓመት ከ60 ዓመት በኋላ መሮጥ መሬት መደርደር ነው ብለውኝ ነበረ። እንደዛ ተስፋ አስቆርጡኝ እንጂ ገንዘብ እየሰጡ አሉ። በዛ ሁኔታ ሮጥ ነው ለበጎ ስራ ስለሆነ በጣም ደስ ብሎኛል። ፍስሀ ይዋዱኝ ኤክስትሪምሊ ጉድ ወርክ እና ሁላችሁም ተካፋዮች በጣም ማመስገን እወዳለሁ። ለሁሉ ተመላሽ ነኝ። እሑድ በዓላችንን በደመቀ ሁኔታ እንደምናከብር ተስፋ እያደረግኩ በዚሁ ልሰናበታችሁ። ደህና ሁኑ።
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have to recognize Pauline. Is Pauline there? I've seen Pauline, but we'll also have a question for Professor Talahun Yilma. Is Pauline there? Pauline is. Yes, she's a co-host. Could you say a few words about the events? We would like you to give us a feedback on this. Thank you.
Yes, I just want to say what a beautiful program. I'm just so proud to be part of the Ethiopian family and to be able to even to get more understanding of the Battle of Adwa. You know, I just know a small amount, and when I talk at Fairfield, I have the big bull plaque. But to hear the scholars and to hear more and to be able to read the book when it does come. So I'd just like to thank all of you and everyone who's been a part of it. And as I said, I'm just proud to be a part of that Fairfield family and to continue that we share this history even more so within our young people that's coming up. And I'm looking forward to Sunday because many people that's coming, I hope many of them will be able to watch back this program because there's younger people who may be in bed right now, but this is such a wonderful platform. And I hope, I know that we will be doing this every year. And Fish, thank you so much, Fisher, for all that you've done. And Gash Kifley, I can't wait to see you soon. So to the family, thank you very much for a beautiful, beautiful evening of information and history.
Blessings. Blessings. We're going to bring some nice Ethiopian food and drink. And hopefully some of the musicians are coming. So get ready for it. Sunday is going to be a big day. We're going to celebrate.
We're ready. I'm ready.
That's good. That's good. Professor, if you're with us, Professor Rahul, thank you very much. Just a reflection of Ethiopians are celebrating Adwa, especially the young ones, with passion. Unfortunately, the Ethiopian officials are not celebrating it with passion. I would like you to say a few words about that. Earlier on, Engineer Scale have proposed silent prayers. What's your intake on this? Thank you.
Would you like me to answer in English or Amharic?
Both.
I'll do it in English because
Okay.
there will be people who can listen to both. I have actually made a proposal. When I went through school, went to school in Nazareth. It used to be Nazareth School, then it became Egalagos School. The interesting thing is, once a week, we have what we call Gibra Gabinet or morals. This is a lecture that we get, how to behave and that sort of stuff. However, in our history class, we hear about the Persians, the Romans, the British, all these things. We've never gotten a single lecture on Ethiopia. And where we have a 3,000-year-old country with great accomplishment, with great history, not even a 1-hour lecture on Ethiopia. So my suggestion, when I was visiting last Ethiopia for 26 years, was because Merles had made me persona non grata, filed a complaint on me to the State Department, so that's another story for a different day. However, one of the things that I really wanted to do, in fact, I've had several interviews, both in Ethiopian television as well as from television from Bahardar. One of the programs I would actually like to fund and contribute to is a program where it would be instituted instead of a 1-hour lecture morals, maybe from first all the way to the end of high school, at least once a week, there should be a class called the History of Ethiopia, and it should be a requirement for all children to take it. From first grade all the way to the end of high school, a minimum. This should be a requirement because there is a story of a great nation, whether they were the Romans or the Greeks. Somebody said, these used to be a great nation. Now they're really down in the dump. Whatever happened to them? The answer was simple. They forgot their history. And so it's really important to institute, because now we don't really have a government that accepts it. For example, recently we had a meeting in Washington. We meet by Zoom. He's an advisory board to the Ethiopian ambassador. And he brought to our attention how he traveled to San Francisco, to Dallas, to all these places, raised millions, thousands of dollars. And then he said he was given a gift, the Ethiopian flag. I said, Ambassador Fitrum, when you go around, you collect in the name of Ethiopia resources, money. In Ethiopia, when Ethiopians organize, whether it's the United States or Britain, the diaspora is organized in the name of Ethiopia, carrying one flag, the Ethiopian flag. Maybe we should have a class for Ethiopians at home, not to have so many flags, so many divisions. So when are you going to work on instituting, going back to one Ethiopia, one nation, one people? People can speak their languages. I speak, for example, Kistani Guaragenia a little bit, because when I go to my family in Mercato, I enjoy speaking it. But a nation needs to have one national language, one flag, something that binds us together. That's our history. So they should be, instead of teaching about the great Roman Empire, the British Empire, so forth and so forth, I think there should be a history of the great Ethiopian Empire. Ethiopia has a long time history, a beautiful language, national language. Let me give you one example, if I be allowed. My laboratory was a consultant, a biotechnology reference center for Food Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. So I used to frequently travel to Rome. So when we decided that I would do this job, the person in charge of the program, the virology program, his name was, still is, he is retired, lives in Ireland, Chris Wojciechowski, but originally from Poland. So so I have to work with Professor Wojciechowski. So when he first told me his name, it's really important to remember somebody's name. I purposely wrote it in Amharic, in Ge'ez, to make sure I can pronounce it perfect. So next time I saw him, I said, "How are you, Professor Wojciechowski?" And he was startled. And I said, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, Yilma." They call me Yilma by my last name. Kalahun is very difficult for them to pronounce. Yilma, how did you do it? I said, "What? You are the first person that I know who is not Polish who can pronounce my name perfect." I said, "The first time you told me your name, I wrote it in my language, in Amharic. I can reproduce any sound I want in that language." About 3 years ago, I was invited to be a keynote speaker at the African Union for a conference. One of the things that I really wanted to suggest was, you see how that Lord Macross, the British Lord, who decided he needs to destroy our culture, our language, our heritage, in order to subjugate us and rule us. That's exactly what they did. I'm actually speaking in English right now. So my suggestion, because of COVID, the meeting was canceled, but I was going to make a proposal that Africa should start heading in the direction of celebrating our African heritage, our African, really, language, literature. So I was going to suggest, instead of Africans adopting Latin, where you have to memorize spelling, I was going to suggest that the Ge'ez alphabet be introduced to all of Africa, and that should be used, and then it should be a proud source for all of us Africans. So my suggestion is that there should be a class in the great Ethiopian history, ታላቋ የኢትዮጵያ ታሪክ የሚል, from first grade at least to 12th grade, 1 hour a week. That's my suggestion.
Thank you, Professor. I really appreciate that. In conjunction to this, Lij Nebiat, if you're there, because I've noticed that Lij Nebiat has been doing a great job about the Ethiopian flag. Lij Nebiat, are you with us?
Yes, I'm still here, yes.
Thank you, Enegeta. Amasagnalo. We can answer it in both the American way or the Ethiopian way. How is the job keeping the flag up?
በአማርኛ ለኢትዮጵያ ስለ ኃይለ ሥላሴ ስታንዳፕ ደግሞ በእንግሊዝኛ እሱን አጠር አድርገህ ተናገር።
ባልደራስ ከዚህ በፊት እስክንድር ነጋ በነበሩበት ጊዜ ጋብዘውኝ ንግግር አድርጌ ሀሳቡን ተቀብለውታል። ሰንደቅ ዓላማው ብቻ ሳይሆን ብሔራዊ መዝሙር በተለይ አሁን ያለው ብሔራዊ መዝሙር ታየ ህዝባዊነት በኢትዮጵያችን ጸንቶ የሚል ነገር አለው። የኢትዮጵያ ህዝባዊነት ያው ህገ መንግስቱም ኦፍኮርስ መቀየር አለበት። የኢትዮጵያ ቅድም ዶክተር ጥላው ሲናገር እንደነበሩት የኢትዮጵያ ህዝብ ሳይሆን ብሔር ብሔረሰቦችና ህዝቦች እና እያንዳንዱ ኢትዮጵያዊ የዜግነት የሚለው የዜግነት መብት የሚለው ደግሞ አንድነት የሚለው እሳቤ ጠፍቷል በኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ እና ያ መቅረት አለበት ብዬ አስባለሁ። እና ህዝባዊነት ታየ በኢትዮጵያችን ጸንቶ ሲል የብሔር ብሔረሰቦች በሆነችው ኢትዮጵያ ጎሰኝነት ጸና በረታ ነው የሚለው እና ይሄ ያስኬደን አይደለም። እንደ አንድ ሀገር ህዝብ እንደ አንድ ሉዓላዊ ሀገር የሚያስኬደን አይደለም እና እሱ መቀየር አለበት። ሰንደቅ ዓላማችን ህገ መንግስቱም ብሔራዊ መዝሙሩን መቀየር አለበት የሚል ጽኑ አቋም አለኝ በግሌ።
እንትኑን አጠር አድርገህ በእንግሊዝኛ ደግሞ ስለ ስታንዳፕ ስላሴ የሚለውን ሙቭመንት እንዴት እንደጀመርክና እሳቸው አሁን እንደተሰቀለ ጋር ብትገልጽልን በመደቂቃ እናመሰግናለን።
ጥሩ እሺ። ያው ቅድም
ሰዎችም እንዲያውቁ ነው እንግሊዝኛ መናገር እንደምትችል።
Sure, yeah. So Selassie Stand Up was an organization I established back in 2012, 2013. Initially, I pitched the idea to the Ethiopian Patriots Association, but they had some reservations about leading the movement.
But the origin of it is when Mallas vetoed the fact that Haile Selassie's statue should not be erected in front of the new AU building the Chinese contributed.
Right.
Okay.
So for those of you more interested, you can go to YouTube and punch in Selassie stand up. There's a 40-minute clip, and it really specifies the reasons why His Imperial Majesty is deserving of a statue. There was one built for the former Ghanaian president, Kwame Nkrumah, which, as a Pan-Africanist, we all endorse and support. But His Imperial Majesty was very instrumental, as you all know, in establishing the Organization of African Unity in 1963. It was His Majesty that reconciled the differences between the Monrovia and Casablanca groups and some of them to Aksawa. The Africa Hall was built and financed by the Ethiopian government with money from the Ethiopian Treasury for a period of 2 years. The Ethiopian government bankrolled the whole administration and functioning of the union. And Haile Selassie was also elected as the first chairman. And he was also in 1972 in Rabat, Morocco, given the title of the Father of Africa. So, it's very clear that anti-Ethiopianists, since 1974, actually, I think Derek can also be classified and understood himself as an anti-Ethiopianist. Although he preached Ethiopianism, he really didn't understand what Ethiopianism was all about. And of course, in 1991, when TPLF took power, they continued that, and the same political system implemented by Mallas Zenawi, which he more or less copied from colonialists, is still in effect to this day. So it's very worrisome. So all in all, as I said before, we need to change that. But the statue project under Selassie Stand Up, in a nutshell, really what I did was, it was Ethiopianism that created Pan-Africanism, as I mentioned earlier. It was the victory at the Battle of Adorama in 1896 that led the term Pan-Africanism to be coined in 1897. Subsequently, in 1900s, there was a Pan-African conference actually in London, and Emperor Minlik was represented through a proxy. He then later summoned Benito Silvan, who was a Haitian and a personal aide de camp of Emperor Minlik, to come to Ethiopia. And of course, the Ethiopian World Federation was established in 1937 by Emperor Haile Selassie vis-a-vis Dr. Malaku Bayan, who was a student at Howard University. And that organization still exists today. They have offices in Harlem, New York, and in Brooklyn, I believe. That organization was instrumental in getting African Americans to sign, register to sign to fight for Ethiopian independence as well. And 5 Tuskegee Airmen, if I'm not mistaken, actually joined the Ethiopian forces and helped establish the Ethiopian Air Force and fought alongside Ethiopians. So there's interconnectedness between African Americans and Ethiopians, and so the Selassie stand-up really leveraged what Ethiopianism created to recreate Ethiopianism, because we had anti-Ethiopians involved. So that's that in a nutshell. In 2019, we were finally successful, and it took a regime change and a lot of lobbying. I wrote to every African head of state to endorse the project, and also lobbied the Ethiopian government to accept the proposal, which they finally did under the leadership of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. And we accompanied we went with the imperial family in 2019 to inaugurate the statue. We were there for the unveiling amongst African heads of state, but even we encountered certain challenges that it may not be necessary to go into details now, but it was very challenging, but a worthwhile project, and so I'm happy to have contributed something on a small scale, and hope to continue that. My next project will probably be to propose building a statue of Emperor Minlik in ዓድዋ, and to also petition the Ethiopian government and the regional government in Tigray to have the Soroda and the area in ዓድዋ where the battle was fought to come under the auspice of the Ethiopian federal government. Similar to how we have here Arlington Cemetery is a national landmark. There are certain sites that are owned or sort of operated or overseen by the federal government. So I think we should do the same in the case of Ottawa and ensure that there's a statue of permanent attendant person there as well. So that's, I guess that's all I have for today. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to speak in more detail. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hold on. I got you. Hold on, please. Hold on. Engineer Fissa, hold on. There is an important person also here, Ras Benji. Ras Benji is one of the guys who run Fairfield House. However, this guy was outside a London theatre with placard opposing a play. He made history by himself. I just want him to give us a brief of what that encounter was. Ras Benji, I know you're there. I would like you to share this because this is very historical. I know it because I was following you up, but I don't think many of our compatriots here realize what you've been objecting. Are you there with us, Ras Benji?
I think he might have left.
No, he's here.
He's here.
Is he there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that would do.
No, he's here.
He's here. Yeah. Unmute yourself. Yeah. Nice one. Thank you very much, Ras Benji. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not an idiot who's talking rubbish now. I want you to pinpoint that event and let the others be enlightened.
It was 2016, and I heard that in London's West End, that Ryszard Kapuscinski's The Emperor, a remake of that play or production associated with that book, was going to be in London's West End, and it was last on, I think it was in 1989, and it was heavily protested in that time by Ethiopian monarchists, by the Rastafari community, Ethiopian World Federation. There was quite a big scene outside the theatre, and I think they actually stopped the play. So I tried, when I heard that there was a resurgence, because His Imperial Highness Prince Ermias says that Ryszard Kapuscinski's The Emperor is literary colonialism, and is has been one of the most hardest hitting publications when it came out in that time. And I think it was 1978 that it first appeared, and it's all over Africa, all over the English-speaking world. It's been translated into many languages, and it's really like a character assassination on His Imperial Majesty at a time when really people were seeking that information. So it was almost legitimizing the dirt. I protested that play for 3 weeks outside the theatre each evening with placards. His Majesty says the truth cannot be suppressed forever by false and subtle propaganda, and that was one of my placards. And I met many interesting Ethiopians, Eritreans, people that agreed with me, people that disagreed with me, people that just stood to listen to my points as to why the truth of history was not being shown in this play. So give thanks. Yeah, it was an amazing time. Just shortly before that, I had been in Ethiopia, so it was almost life affirming for me to then that opportunity. And everybody that I was speaking to, because this book came out in the 70s, they didn't know what I was talking about. So I knew that it was on me to go and say that I disagree. Give thanks. Thank you, Index.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I know Engineer Fissa would like us to wrap up. We will do that, but I also invited a special guest. I don't know whether he's in with us, but this guy is a very special guy. He he was one of the guy who taught so many of the African liberators in the 80s, including setting up Mandela's security and the other South African patriots. They call him the general. I don't know whether Ato Asnako is with us. If he is, I would like him to say a few things about Pan-Africanism, Ethiopianism. If not, we will wrap up with this. I will try to see whether he's about to give him the opportunity to say something. Otherwise, we'll wrap up. And in the meantime,
Yes, I can't really see the person you say.
Asnako. Okay, I know he was logging from Ethiopia, so probably he's gone. But thank you very much, all the participants. I do appreciate that. We are coming this Sunday, to Bath to celebrate Adwa. And we will be having all the food, all the drinks, all the celebration, all the musicians will be there to take part. And we appreciate your efforts, Engineer Scale, Engineer Fissa, and all the others for taking part, especially the professors. We appreciate that. We salute you. I would like to link up with the Ethiopian Tribune and have a lengthy interview with you all. And I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Take it on.
Okay. Please make sure the chat room is safe when you save the file.
Sure, no problem. We'll do all of that. Just before we all go away, yes, I mean, it shows, how much Adwa, means to all of us, to so many of us. It embodied so much value, freedom, unity, whatever you want to call it. It truly shows that today. And it carries so much of weight. Even to talk about it, to discuss it, it means so much.
Can I interrupt you, Engineer? There is a hand. I can't see the first name. Shif Danneka. He's really want to raise few things. So can we give him the mic for two seconds? Okay. Can you unmute yourself?
Go ahead, Shif.
Yeah.
Unmute yourself, Shif.
Okay. Thank you. I think
This is Engineer Shivarrao from Los Angeles. Another engineer is taking over.
How you doing? I want to do it in English so all the others attendants can hear me out. First of all, I want to acknowledge and honor the people who are behind this to organize it. And 1896 is a lighting day, not only to Ethiopia, to all the African continent, to all the black people. I do have a great warming heart of Menelik. He was an amazing, and we call him Amiya, which represents the mother. Today, I'm so happy to join you. A couple of my cousin, Kifle, which he mentioned our grandfather, and Baleta, which is his friend, and he's like my brother. We met in Dubai. And I've seen so wonderful people here. Today, what it taught me is one person can make a difference, but all of us can make change. I want everybody to be a colorblind person. You know why? A colorblind person, they don't even know the color, they don't even know about somebody's race. And peace can start from us. And whatever the situation which started 30 years ago, which they put, what do you call it, a poison in our heart, which divided us, all the brothers and sisters, we see them, when I was grown up and back home, nobody asked me where I'm from, but we lived in a peaceful life. One of the professors, which is from Northern California, what he said was, what we're missing for the last 30 years is the subject which was pulled out was a moral, which really put us down to the greed. And I think I heard that the Ministry of the school, the institution, which they started to inject the moral school, and I hope the next coming generation will be reviving back. And Adwa is, as you said it, is our base, and we can move forward. And I thank you, everybody within the panel. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Engineer Shifarao.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's really good. I know it's kind of getting late a bit here for some people, but just to add a few things. Yes, don't forget about the Sundays. Sunday's our gathering. Tonight was our virtual. Sunday will be, unfortunately, the people in the States and Europe and Germany, France, wherever you are, unfortunately, you may not be able to make it. Well, you won't. Yes, so we have another party on Sunday. We will.
By the way, we will live stream it, so we can say virtually they can follow us. Yes, yeah.
Of course. But we'll be doing our last marching for the people who would like to do the last marching from the bus train station or bus station toward the Fairfield House. It's about 2 miles. We'll do that last walk. That's a reminder for everyone. And also, yeah, it's going to be a great event. We will share it live, of course. Someone called Engineer Scan. Someone called from here, our good friend, just so you all know her. Betty Hago said, I have 1 minute long poem to finish off. She said, I would love to share that. She would love to share it with us. Let's hear that from her.
Before that, Engineer Fitza, somebody from your team needs to post the link for the fundraising drive for the Fairfield House in the chat room before everybody leaves.
Yes.
While she's reading the poem.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry for interrupting.
Fundraising.
That's
They would like the fundraising again. The link, okay. Oh yeah, Biniam did already, I can see.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Biniam. It's there. It's there.
Yeah, thank you, Biniam. Yes.
It's the house, as I said earlier. I do my best to help as a director to represent the Ethiopian community. It's the legacy we're all trying to protect and keep that going. So that's there. So please do what you can if you can. So yes, let's bring Betty Hagos. Betty, are you there to read the last poem for us? There she is.
ሰላም እንደምናመሻችሁ ሁላችሁንም እንኳን ለ126ኛው ታላቅ የዓድዋ ድል በዓል ሁላችንን በሰላም አደረሰን። አዘጋጆችን ሁላችሁንም ለማመስገን እወዳለሁኝ። እግዚአብሔር ይስጥልን፣ እግዚአብሔር ያክብራችሁ። ከዚህ በመቀጠል በእርግጥ ዘግቼ ነው የገባሁት፣ ግን ትንሽ አንድ አጠር ያለች ነገር ለመናገር ብዬ ነው። ግጥሙ እንደዚህ ይላል። ምኒልክ የት ኖሯል ይላል ግጥሙ። ይሰማል?
ይሰማል።
እሺ፣ አመሰግናለሁ። ከሙታን መቃብር ከጭርታው መንደር ጸጥታና ሰላም ከነገሰበቱ ከድንጋይ ከሐውልቱ እንዲህ ይነበባል። ይህ ሰው ጥሩ ነበር ለሰው በዓድዋ ጦርነት ላይ ደሙን ያፈሰሰው ክፋት የሌለበት ፍቅር የሞላበት ያበዛ ቸርነት የሞላው ደግነት አፈር ሆነ አፈሩ ቋሚ ሆነ ግብሩ ለእኛ ቀረ ክብሩ። ይገርማል። ይህ አይነቱ ሰው የት ነው የነበረው? መቼስ ነው የኖረው? አመሰግናለሁኝ። እግዚአብሔር ይስጥልኝ። ሰላም እደሩ። ድሉን ስለሰጠኝ አመሰግናለሁ። ቴንክ ዩ ፊሽ።
No problem, Betty. That was a wonderful poem. We thank you so much for that. So it's been so great. Adwa means so much to all of us. This can go on for a long time. We are well over our time program. but I'm so sorry about that. But how enjoyable, how so wonderful, how great it was this evening so far. I am so grateful, and thank you to all of you. It shows this history is so big and deep. We can't even carry it. I mean,
sorry, before you finish, thank you. But I appreciated that I invited him, but it would be nice for you to invite him to come on Sunday so he can entertain us.
Of course, everyone is welcome. It's a house. Everyone should come and visit. Historical place.
Thanks a lot.
ብትመጣ ደስ ይላል። ኮች አለ ከብርሃን ኮች አዘጋጅታለች። ከእሷ ጋር መምጣት ትችላለህ። ብርሃን አለች አይደል? አዎ ከለንደን የሚነሳ
የት ነው ቦታው? የት ነው?
ብርሃን አለች። ብርሃን አለሽ አይደለ? አትሌት ብርሃን ጋር መገናኘት ትችላለህ። እሷ አላት። አዎ ታውቃታለህ አትሌት ብርሃን? አዎ እያወራች ነው። አሁን ልትናገር ነው። ትነግርሃለች የቱ ጋር እንደሆነ። If anyone wants to join us on Sunday, Brian would be the person to talk to. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
So, should we wrap up? I know it's so great. The topic is just keep going. I'm so grateful. So grateful. Liz Nabiat, Professor Tlaun, Professor Solomon. I mean, English guys, so many of you. Professor Mama Muti, so many people from so many places. I am so grateful to all of you. Do not please forgive me if I'm not mentioning anyone. I mean, I can't.
You did a wonderful job, Engineer Fatsar and Dex and the team. I think this is my second year working with you guys, and third year will be double. We're doubling participation every year. And next year, people who have visited today, some of them would be guests to give a speech. So enjoyed working with you again.
Yes.
Nilma, I like to say thank you to really for the opportunity to participate. እግዚአብሔር ይስጥልኝ፣ እግዚአብሔር ያክብርልኝ። እንደዚሁ ወደፊትም እኛም ልጆቻችንም እንዲህ እየቀጠሉ የአድዋን በዓል እንዲያከብሩ መጣር አለብን። እግዚአብሔር ይስጥልን።
Thank you, Professor Tlahun. Thank you. I'd like to get in touch with you. Yes, thank you.
Athlete Brian would like to say some few words, I guess.
እሺ አመሰግናለሁ ሁላችሁ። እንግዲህ አሜሪካ ያላችሁ ኔክስት ይር ሁላችሁ መጣችሁ አብረን እንድናከብር ያድርገን። እግዚአብሔር ይጠብቀን ሁላችንም። ሀገራችን ኢትዮጵያ ሰላም አድርጎ እንግዲህ እሑድ ያው ከባስ ተናግሯል። ከባስ ተነስተን እስከ ለመጀመሪያ እንግዲህ እንጀምረዋለን። ከዛ ይቀጥላል በየዓመቱ እንግዲህ እገምታለሁ። እዚህ ውስጥ ያላችሁ ካላችሁ እኔ ባስ አንድ ሁለት ቦታ ብቻ ነው ያለኝ። ባስ ሞልቷል። በላይ ከፈለክ ያው ስልኬን ታገኛለህ ቶሎ ብለህ። አመሰግናለሁ።
ጽጌ ማርያም የምትባልም ትፈልጋለች። ስለዚህ ጽጌ ማርያም ኮንታክት እንድታረግሽ
ኦኬ ስልኬን ስጣቸው ካለኝ እና ለሁላችሁም በጣም 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 አመሰግናለሁ። በእውነት እግዚአብሔር ስጣችሁ። ትልቅ ትምህርት ነው የተማርነው ዛሬ እና እንደዚህ ያደርጋችሁ ብታስተምሩ ጥሩ ነው። ለልጆቻችንም ትልቅ እንትን ነው። እግዚአብሔር ይባርካችሁ። እድሜ ይስጥልኝ።
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Job is done.
Yezinash, Tamasken, so beautiful. William for the reading the poems. Betty, all the people who participated. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to everyone.
I was from Prince Ermias.
I was gonna say that last one, Prince Ermias. Of course, so kind of him. I mean, the meaning of the message is so timely, very welcome. And I would like to say thank you to everyone. I mean, Liz Navia, grateful for you. I'm sure I'll keep in touch for emails, whatever.
Yes,
I'm always here to help support in any way I can. So
thank you so much.
Liz Navia, I would like to get in touch with you as well. Last time I tried to contact you when you came to London, but I did speak to Lij Tedla.
Yeah, I heard. I heard. about the ተገናኝተናል። በጣም ጥሩ ተናገረችን እና በጣም በርቱ፣ እግዚአብሔር ያበርታችሁ። በማንኛውም ነገር እኛም ለመተባበር ፈቃደኞች ነን፣ ዝግጁዎች ነን። ኮንታክት ኢንፎርሜሽን ልክላለሁ። አሁን ለጠየቀው ወንድሜ በዚህ ነው ቻቱ ልቻሉ በስክሪን በኩልም በኢንጂነር ፍቃድ በኩል ልክላቸዋለሁ።
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much, everyone. Should we say bye now? I know it's difficult to say bye, but let's do it.
We're down to 53 people,
so yes, thank you very much. I'm honored. So
Thank you.
Have a good day, have a good night, whatever. Ciao, everyone.
Okay, let me say the.
Ciao.
10:14 p.m. in London time.
Thank you, Engineer. I appreciate that. You did very well. We should have started with the prayer. So.
Yeah, you know, next time.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for being late.
No, it's fine. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.